badly early in this innings, and West Indies making that huge score. India against Zimbabwe coming up in an hour's time on 5 Sports Extra, BBC Sport website and app. And India will be feeling a little bit more comfortable. Far from being done, so they could lose the West Indies, and that's it. I mean, that strikes me as that's possibly going to become an effective quarter-final now, West Indies against South Africa.
Yeah, it is, and that's good as well for the tournament. You want these games to have meaning. You don't want this stage of the tournament for games to just be sort of dead games. So for India, who were the favourites at the beginning of this tournament, to have lost one game and suddenly been in a position where they have to almost win every single game to qualify or to get through to that semi, puts the tournament in a good position. And it'd be interesting to see how India deal with that pressure, because there's going to be a hell of a lot of pressure from being the home nation as well. So you know, it's not just as simple as playing in a different country and having the expectations, but playing in your own home country with a billion people's expectations of you winning it is going to be a tricky situation for them to manage.
Yeah, that match is going to be at Eden Gardens as well on Sunday. It's 1:30 UK start, and Eden Gardens, just watching some of the games there, I mean the pitches have been okay, and the outfield lightning fast. West Indies, if they do have a day out, if they do take India on there, because they've got Bumrah, it's not easy to knock away, but if they start clearing the ropes and build the pressure on India on Sunday, and well, it'll be fascinating to see. There's a lot to look forward to as we move towards the semi-finals next week, which we'll bring you on Sports Extra. Wednesday and Thursday for the semi-finals, and then Sunday for the final, presumably in this stadium. So a lot needs to happen. It's not going to be in this stadium. Pakistan will qualify for the final, which seems unlikely. At the moment, there is a small scenario. It looks like New Zealand will group, South Africa from this group, and then who else? Not good yet, but they've got a lot to do on the other day.
எப்படின்னு தெரியல ப்ரோ, இங்க ஃபுல்லா வச்சாதான் லைவ்லயும் ஃபுல்லா கேக்குது. நானே ரொம்ப கத்துறானா.
South Africa easing towards their victory target.
In-game sound குறைச்சாலும் லைவ்ல குறைஞ்சிருமா?
Shows their attitude in this tournament and how badly they do want to do well in it. Just to knock on the leg side and trot through for your singles. So for Markham and Rickleton to be pushing their singles and pushing those twos, it just shows where they want to be in this tournament and the standards they want to reach.
கமெண்ட்ரி பேசிட்டு இருக்காங்க, அது எவ்வளவு கிளியரா கேக்குதுன்னு பாருங்க. நல்ல சவுண்டா கேக்குதான்னு பாக்க.
உங்க வாய்ஸ் லோ கேக்கல ப்ரோ.
ஏன் வாய்ஸா?
உங்க வாய்ஸ் நல்லா கேக்குது, ஆனா கமெண்ட்ரி கொஞ்சம் கம்மியா கேக்குது.
அதுதான் என் வாய்ஸ் நல்லா கேக்குது, கமெண்ட்ரி தான் இப்ப குறைச்சிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஏன்னா எனக்கே தலை வலிக்குது, ரொம்ப சத்தமா இருக்கு.
ஓகே ப்ரோ, அப்பனா ஓகே, மைல்டா இருக்கு.
மைல்டா இருக்கா? எப்படி கேக்குதுங்கறீங்க?
நல்லா ப்ரோ, உங்க வாய்ஸ் நீங்க பேசாம இருக்கீங்களா, அப்ப வந்து நல்லா கேக்குது.
அப்படியா? இப்ப நான் என் போன்ல செக் பண்ணேன், ரொம்ப கம்மியா கேக்குது கமெண்ட்ரி. விஜய் ப்ரோ, ஹாய் ப்ரோ, ஹாய், வெல்கம் டு தி ஸ்ட்ரீம் ப்ரோ. இப்ப பாருங்க, கமெண்ட்ரி செக் பண்ணுங்க.
Have been doing, which is just about hard length, slow balls, use the bouncer, but they're actually trying to drag this out as long as they can and keep South Africa out here, because as we spoke earlier, it plays such a big part in the net run rate, and West Indies want to win that game against India and win the rest of the games and qualify, and to do that they have to win big either against India or hope the net run rate goes.
Okay வா, ஃபுல்லா வச்சேன் ப்ரோ, ரொம்ப அதிகமா கேட்கலையா என்ன? நல்லா கேக்குது, அதுதான் ப்ராப்ளம். எனக்கு ரொம்ப தலை வலிக்குது இங்க, என் காதுல ரொம்ப ஃபுல்லா கேக்குது. எனக்கு என்னன்னா எனக்கு கம்மியா கேட்கணும், ஆனா லைவ்ல நல்லா கேட்கணும். அது எப்படி பண்றதுன்னு தெரியல. இப்ப ஃபுல்லா ஆஃப் பண்ணிட்டேன். எப்படி பண்றது அத? ஆடியோ தனியா பிரிக்க முடியுமா?
Well, we spoke about the 16th over, and they've got what 8 balls to get there. So you'd have to say they'd be on
Desktop
course to win
audio.
this game. 16 runs of the next 8 balls. You'd probably say it's in their favour.
Holder bowls full.
Advanced audio option. Monitor off.
To the onside.
Monitor off.
கேக்குது டீசன்ட்டா கேம் crowd sound அதெல்லாம் கேக்கலையே.
Very full in this over.
அதெல்லாம் அது கொஞ்சம் 50%ல தான் வச்சிருக்கேன். அதே ஃபுல்லா ஏத்தவா?
இல்ல வேணாம் ஓகேவா உங்களுக்கு?
எனக்கு கம்மியா அதுதான் எப்படி குறைக்கிறதுன்னு தெரியாம கம்மியா வச்சிருக்கேன் எல்லாத்தையும். தலை வலிக்குது. இப்ப கிரவுண்ட் சவுண்ட் ஃபுல்லா ஏத்திட்டேன்.
ஸ்ட்ரீம்ல எல்லாமே நல்லா சவுண்டா கேட்கணும், உங்களுக்கு ஆனா கம்மியா கேட்கணும்.
இது ஏதோ ஆப்ஷன் இருக்கு, பார்க்கணும். அப்படியே இருங்க, டெஸ்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. டெஸ்க்டாப் ஆடியோ வந்து அதுக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆடியோ தனியா பிரிக்கணும். ப்ரோ ஆர்சிபி ப்ரோ, ஹாய் ப்ரோ, வாங்க ப்ரோ. எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? நல்லா இருக்கேன் ப்ரோ. நேத்து தானே ப்ரோ வந்தீங்க? ஆடியோ செக் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். மை டெஸ்க்டாப் ஆடியோ மொத்தமா எல்லாத்தையும் பிரிக்கும். சாப்பிட்டேன் ப்ரோ, மதியானம் சாப்பிட்டேன் ப்ரோ. நீங்க சாப்பிட்டீங்களா?
நோட்டிஃபிகேஷனே வருது, லைவ் போட்ட நோட்டிஃபிகேஷன்.
அது என்னன்னே தெரியல. மானிட்டர் ஒன்லி மியூட் அவுட்புட்.
Aiden Makram is led from the front.
இப்போ எப்படி ப்ரோ கேக்குது? எனக்கு இப்பயும் கேக்குது எனக்கு.
Mario Shepherd with a high full toss. It's been slapped away. Doesn't quite get it past the fielder. At deep third. Ford doing well to get round to his left, and we're just waiting for the umpire.
Score bro, West Indies South Africa. Score மேல போட்டுருக்கேன் பாருங்க லைவ்ல, தெரியலையா?
I thought that looked quite high.
South Africa ஜெயிக்க போறாங்க.
I think they're having a look at it. It looked quite high. It's difficult to. It looked like he wanted to hit it towards.
Toss போட்டோனே நம்ம மாத்தலாம்.
Player review for a no ball.
Third umpire Richard Illingworth.
I'm looking now. Can we have a look at
is going to be reviewing this no ball
striker
for ball height. Now what they do is they measure
70% கேக்குற மாதிரி இருக்கு.
கமெண்ட்ரியா?
ஆமா.
கமெண்ட்ரி ஃபுல் ஸ்லோ பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கேன்.
This is
call is fair delivery.
கம்மி பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கேன். அது இதெல்லாம் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கேன்.
சவுண்ட் கொஞ்சம் கேம் இமர்சிவா இருக்கும் ப்ரோ பார்க்கறவங்களுக்கு.
அது எனக்கு தெரியும், அதனால தான் கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கு. அட எனக்கு தலை வலிக்குது, ரொம்ப சவுண்டா இருக்கு.
So there we have it, the technology.
இப்போ ஃபுல்லா வச்சிட்டாங்க.
ப்ரோ ஆடியோ கேப்சர்ல போய் மாத்தலாம் ப்ரோ. நீங்க எவ்வளவு இது அங்க வந்து ஃபுல்லா வச்சிட்டு உங்க இதுல குறைக்கலாமா? முடியாதா?
இங்க அதான் ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம்.
இப்ப நம்ம அப்படி பண்ண முடியாது ப்ரோ. Sweeper boundary.
Full sound வச்சிட்டு உங்க ஹெட்போன்ல சவுண்ட் குறைச்சிடுங்க ப்ரோ.
Possible to hit it there.
அதே
Definitely a no ball. And that brings a free hit.
Bro, நீங்க பாக்குறீங்களா? டபுள் டபுளா கேக்குது.
Well, essentially 3 runs off that ball.
நான் பாஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன். எனக்கு நீங்க பேசறனால எனக்கு கேட்க மாட்டேங்குது. அதனால நான் பாஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன் கேம்.
ஹெட்போன்ல எப்படி குறைக்கிறது?
South Africa only need 11 runs now from 30 balls.
ஹெட்போன்ல இப்ப குறைச்சிட்டேன்.
Get this done in just a couple balls if they wanted to. It's Rickleton on 40.
Super bro. இப்ப எப்படி ப்ரோ கேக்குது உங்களுக்கு?
Bowls a wide Yorker. Rickleton jamming his bat down into the ground.
Sound full இருக்கா?
That's real good execution.
இப்ப டெஸ்ட் பண்ணு ப்ரோ. நான் பேசுறது கேம் எல்லாமே ஃபுல்லா இருக்குன்னு
that wide.
நல்லா கேக்குது.
சூப்பர் ப்ரோ. ஹெட்போன்ல குறை இவ்வளவு நாள் மண்டையில இந்த கொண்டே மறந்துட்டேன்.
அதேதான் ப்ரோ ஆடியோ யோசிச்சேன்.
Big Shepherd who is limping like a ship.
சூப்பர் ஐடியா ப்ரோ. அப்பா எவ்வளவு அமைதியா இருக்கு. இவரே எல்லா கேமுக்கும் இதே ட்ரை பண்ணலாம் போல.
29 Shepherd wide again, low full toss.
Score bro, West Indies South Africa. ஆனா இப்ப நீங்க பேசுறது சூப்பரா இருக்கு. கம்மியா கேக்குது.
South African fans in the crowd celebrating as their team's only 7 runs away now.
அதெல்லாம் பண்ண முடியாது ப்ரோ. அத பண்ண முடியாது.
Surprising not to have that down that side.
சரி ஒரு 50%
sweeping on the offside when you're bowling wide.
ஓரளவுக்கு கேக்குது பேசுறது.
Oh, was the placement just that good?
பேசுங்க. ஹலோ.
There's no fielder anywhere close to the ball
கேக்குது. ரொம்ப மைல்யூட்டா கேக்குது.
His eyes lit up.
அத்தல வச்சிருக்கேன்.
Spotting that gap in the field. 7 needed now from 28.
கூர்மையா கவனிக்கணும். ஓகே, இதான் நல்லா இருக்கு.
Just
Rickleton.
a couple of hits to go, and that will be done for South Africa. It'll be done for West Indies too.
Low full toss hammered back into the stumps.
இதுதான் அப்பவே
ப்ரோ இன்னைக்கு ஒரு 3 சப்ஸ்கிரைபர் புதுசா வந்திருக்காங்க போல.
அப்படியா எங்க
Alert to the situation that his field is
407 தான இருந்துச்சு 406 க்கு போயிடுச்சு.
It's just the one run, so 6
406 க்கு
needed
போயிடுச்சு அப்ப.
to win.
இல்ல 406 நேத்து போயிடுச்சு ப்ரோ. இன்னைக்கு 409 இருக்கு.
Just one hit away.
எனக்கு இங்க 408
and the game will be done, and South Africa looking
409 காட்டுது.
control over the game. They have been in control over the game.
என்னடா
From ball one,
obviously
really.
8
There
இருந்தாங்க.
was just only a few fighting overs when West Indies had the partnership between Romario Shepherd and Jason Holder. But apart from that, it has all been South Africa.
To tender, if it was you out there facing this delivery now, are you going for the
Yeah,
glory,
இன்னைக்கு அவர் ஆளே
finishing
காணோம்,
it with a
ஓடிச்சு bro.
6, or just working the ball around?
Well, if it was me, that's just working the ball around. I don't think Aiden Markram is one that would also go for the glory shot. I think he'll just make sure that he'll be there at the end. If it was Rickleton, he would go.
Markram,
South Africa needs 6
just
runs
the ball
and
go down
27
the leg
points.
side and hits a dead spot in the pitch as it passes the stumps, rolling through to the keeper.
நீங்க இன்ஸ்டால் போட்டீங்களா கேம்?
Bewildered by that delivery, but nonetheless it's a wide ball. 5 needed now.
Resident Evil
Aiden
இன்ஸ்டால்
Markram
போட்டீங்களா?
loves batting. He loves spending
Right,
time in
bro.
the crease.
ரைட்.
And I'm sure he would want to make sure that he's right there at the end. I doubt that he will go for a 6, but let's see.
As he waits for Shepherd,
ப்ரோ இந்த
follows
பேட்சை
him
நம்ம
to the
போட்டு
leg
டைம் லைட்டே
side.
முடிச்சிரோம் ப்ரோ.
அப்ப போடுங்க ட்ரை பண்ணுங்க. ப்ரோ அதுல ஒரு வில்லங்க இருக்கு.
Allowing them through for 1, 4
அந்த
runs
ஒவ்வொரு
needed now
அப்டேட்லயும் போட்டுருப்பான்
for victory for
ரெடீம்
South Africa.
இதுல
Well, they had a similar
Next
approach
இதுல
in their win
நோட்பேட்ல எந்த
against
பேட்சுக்கு
India.
எந்த அப்டேட் போடணும். ராங் பேட்ச் ராங் அப்டேட் வச்சுட்டு நம்ம ராங் போட்டோம்னா மொத்த ஃபைல் டெலீட் ஆயிருது. அப்படிதான் மாட்டிக்கிட்டோம்
Karthix coming
நானும்.
next was pictured just a few
ஐயோ
minutes ago.
அவன் நம்பர் பட்டா பண்ணுவான். ஐயோ
The
நாட்டி
biggest
ப்ரோ.
yawn I've ever
அவரே
seen.
போட்டு குழம்பி
Really
போகலால
needs to
கேமே
seem to get a
விளையாட்டா
move on.
ஆஃபர்ல வாங்கிக்கலாம்னு போயிட்டாரு அவரு.
I think it could be done in the next 2 polls.
இல்ல கொடுத்திருக்காங்க
As
தெரியுமா
Rickleton
பண்ணலாம் ப்ரோ.
Gets
நேத்துலாம்
a
வந்து
full
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம்
toss and he
பாக்கும்போது
hammers it
ஒண்ணுமே
into the
புரியல.
stumps again.
அதுக்கு அப்புறம் அடுத்து
This
பார்த்தேன்
time
என்ன
the
வெர்ஷன்
ricochet going straight to the
எப்படி
fielder.
போடணும்.
And
ஒண்ணும்
two
பிரச்சனை இல்ல அது.
occasions now he has
இன்ஸ்டால் இத
had the
டெலீட் பண்ணிடாதீங்க அதை
pass off that
வச்சிருங்க.
ball.
டவுன்லோட்
Chat
பண்ணுங்க.
GPT
The stumps
கேட்டேன்.
getting in the way. You can see the funny
ChatGPT
side of
வந்து
it. Certainly
ஐயோ
Shepherd
இன்னும்
can
நீங்க
as
வந்து
well.
கிராக் கேம்ஸ் என்ன கேட்டிட்டு
Those
இருக்கீங்க.
three
அதெல்லாம் நான் ஹெல்ப் பண்ண
sticks
மாட்டேன்னு
of wood have saved him a few runs this over.
பண்றானே எனக்கெல்லாம் பண்ணானே
Stop playing
கிராக்கர் கேம் பத்தி
straight,
சொன்னா நான்
Stop
பண்ணேன் இல்ல
playing straight.
அவ்வளவுதான்.
இல்ல ப்ரோ அந்த பேஜை கொடுத்தேன் எப்படி இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணனும்னு சொல்லி கொடுத்திருந்தான் அவன்.
Not
இந்த ரீபேக் எல்லாத்தையும் அப்டேட்
South Africa need 4
சாட்ல
runs to
போட்டுருந்தான். அதை
win.
எடுத்து காப்பி பண்ணி
And
இதுல
Shepherd
போட்டேன்.
bowls Yorker off stump line.
இன்னைக்கு
goes
பூரா
really
இந்த
good
கேம் பத்தி தான்
execution
கேட்டுட்டு
again.
இருந்தேன். ரெசிடென்ட்
It
இவில்
was
எனக்கு
an
எப்படி
over of
வாங்குறது
all
கம்மியான்ட்டு அதே தான் கேட்டுட்டு
In the end,
இருந்தேன்.
gets through it. 16
அவன் தான் இந்த
overs
ஒரு
gone.
வெப்சைட் சொன்னான்.
And South Africa just 4
green.
runs away.
ஆபீஸ்ல பப்ளிசிட்டி இருந்தே வாங்கிடுறான் ப்ரோ. வாங்கி
Control over this game, and they've been in control over a whole lot of
100%
the games that
trusted
they've played.
platform.
They've won everything, and
Ah,
they're
okay,
way on
but,
course
அப்போ
to
கால்
win this
வந்து-
one as well.
ஆயா பிரைஸ்
Now
அதிகம்.
wait the next game that's coming
மல்டி
in
ஆன்லைன்
between
கேம்னா ஒருத்து ப்ரோ
India
வாங்கலாம்.
and
ஓகே.
Zimbabwe.
ஒருத்து
A lot of pressure
இது
on
சிங்கிள்
India.
பிளேயர் தான்.
Zimbabwe would love to cause an
அப்படியே
upset.
முடிஞ்சோட அப்படியே தூக்கி போட்டுருவாங்க.
Another big
மதிக்க கூட மாட்டோம்.
recognized great team India.
Well, they had such a good campaign throughout the group stages and would be bitterly disappointed with the way things went against the West Indies on Monday, then hitting a
பிஎஸ் வச்சிருக்காங்கன்னா இன்னைக்கே விளையாட ஆரம்பிச்சிருவாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்
50
நைட் 12
plus
மணிக்கு.
score, the second highest score in men's T20 World Cups. So redemption for Zimbabwe potentially on the cards. Full toss chipped over Jason Holder and away for 4 runs. That's the victory for South Africa
இல்ல இது எந்திரிச்சிரும் 9 10 மணிக்கு தான் எந்திரிப்பேன்.
with another win.
9:10
Yet to suffer a loss in this World Cup.
மத்த வேலை பார்க்கறதுக்கு டைம்
An unbeaten run for South Africa continues, and they're playing really well. And they do play really well in big tournaments, and we've known them to stumble right at the end. They did stumble at the end in 2024 when they could have won in the final against
இல்ல இல்ல
India.
முஜோசோடே போடணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
I will believe that
டிஸ்கால்ல ஒரு ஆப்ஷன்
this might
இருக்குமே
be the year
ஆடியோ
that they will
இன்க்ரீஸ்
turn things
பண்றது
around
சவுண்ட்.
and make sure that they carry their
இருக்கு
momentum
bro
all the
தனியா.
way
எங்க இருக்கு?
to winning the World Cup. They're
அது
playing
ஃபுல்லா
really
அதுல
good
ஏத்தி
cricket, and
வச்சிருக்கேன்.
that's a
மைக்ரோஃபோன் ஸ்பீக்கர்
convincing win
ஆமாமா இதான் மொத்தமா தான் ப்ரோ நீங்க செப்பரேட்டா குறைக்கணும்னா
for this convincing victory have played classical, lovely cricket to watch.
It's a win by 9 wickets for South Africa. Captain Aidan Markram finishing 82 not out, 46 balls, 7 fours and 4 sixes in that innings. Quinton de Kock at the top of the order as well, 47 of 24.
கேம்ல சவுண்ட் ஃபுல்லா குறைச்சேன். ஆனா அப்போதைக்கு எல்லா சவுண்டும் குறைஞ்சிருச்சு. ஸ்ட்ரீம்லயும் குறைஞ்சிருச்சு. ஆனா ஹெட்செட்ல சவுண்ட் குறைச்சேன். கேக்குறது மட்டும் குறைஞ்சிருக்கு. ஆனா ஸ்ட்ரீம்ல நல்லா ஃபுல்லா கேக்குது.
28 balls. Dreamy performance for South Africa in this fortress in Ahmedabad. They've played so many of their games, all but one of their games in this World Cup. Continuing to just read the conditions really well. It was a good bowling performance from the quicks for South Africa, which just took early wickets, reduced the West Indies down to 83 for 7. Partnership.
ஆனா ட்ரெய்லர்ல அவ்வளவு காமிச்ச மாதிரி தெரியல பஸ்ஸல்ஸ்லாம்.
Finished 49 not out. 49 and Romario Shepherd, who finished 52 not out. West Indies to that score of 176 for 8. But not enough runs. South Africa absolutely gliding through that run chase. And certainly, as you said there, they've always been a side who have navigated the group stages, the Super 8 stages fine. It's when it gets to that knockout where they'll know that the pressure and the talk around how they perform on those occasions. But I mean, Tatendra, this South African team just feels like the finished product.
They're really playing good cricket. They're batting well, they're bowling well, they're fielding well. You know, by a few drop catches today, they have been really fielding well. And they are a serious bunch. And if you go back to the way they value cricket in their school system, cricket is regarded so seriously in South Africa, and that brings that serious look that they always have, and I think that does well for them. But when it comes to penultimate or games in a tournament, that seriousness becomes or turns to pressure. And that's how they stumble when they get to the semi-finals or finals.
அப்படியே கொடுத்தானே எப்பற எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரே அக்கவுண்ட் கொடுக்குறீங்க அது ஒரு டவுட்டாவே இன்னுமே இருக்கு.
Now, because of this win against the West Indies today, South Africa all but qualified. However, if India go on to lose all 3 of their matches, they're already lost to South Africa. If they lose their remaining 2, then there's still a possibility of South Africa, West Indies and Zimbabwe all finishing on 4 points. Of course, that would be a bit of a shock if India did lose all 3 matches in the Super 8 stages, so it's not quite decided.
எவ்வளவு நேரம் bro ஸ்டோரி முடிக்க எவ்வளவு நாள் ஆகும்? நான் பாட்டு வாங்கிட்டேன். முடிப்பனா எனக்கு கூட தெரியல.
Of course,
முடிக்கணும் bro. 500 காக முடிக்கணும் bro.
Lose again.
கூட அது கோப்ல கூட அப்படியே உங்கள வச்சு முடிச்சு விட்டுறலாம். சரியா விளையாடுங்க.
Again, 3 teams tied on 2 points, all fighting for 1 place. So plenty of permutations here.
Okay bro, எனக்கு ஐடியா கிடைச்சிருச்சு bro.
என்ன கிடைச்சிருச்சு? Made a lot clearer following that result.
ஆனா நீ சொன்ன மாதிரி தான் bro.
In just a little while
வந்து நீங்க அடுத்து போடணும்னா இந்த வருஷம் தான் போடணும். மாத்தி போட்டீங்கன்னா போயிடும் மொத்தமா.
West Indies they've kind of
1.2 to 1.2.2 க்கு வந்து இந்த இத போடணும்.
Brutal win against Zimbabwe.
என்ன bro எக்ஸாம் பண்ணி எக்ஸாம் படிக்கிறது சுத்தமா இருக்குது.
அந்த மாதிரி போட்டு எத்தனை தடவை அன்இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணி பண்றோம் தெரியுமா?
I think they have
அது போட்டதுக்கு அப்புறம் ஒரு கால் bro ஆன்லைன் டெக்ஸ் இன்வைட் பண்ண முடியல. ஒண்ணும் பண்ண முடியல.
அது எப்படி பண்ணனும் தனியா கொடுத்திருக்கான். அதாவது நமக்கு வந்து 5 ஃபைல் இருக்கு. அது 5 ஃபைல்ல எப்படி ஆன்லைன் டெக்ஸ் போடுறது அப்படினு சொல்லி தனியா ஒரு அதுக்கு ஒரு
unbeaten 82 from 46 7 fours
எங்க இதெல்லாம் இதுல கேம் ஃபைல் அப்டேட் ஃபைல்ல ஃபோல்டர்ல கொடுத்திருக்கான்.
இல்ல கீழ கமெண்ட்ல அவனே ஒரு த்ரெட்ல போட்டுருக்கான் bro. இதான் நான் கடைசியா சொல்றதுக்கு அப்புறம் வந்து 99 கேட்டிட்டு இருக்காங்கடா அப்படினு ஃபுல்லா போட்டுருக்கான்.
எல்லாரும் அதே கேட்பாங்க எப்படி பண்றது.
A big thing for us to get out the power play quite nicely, so nice partnership with Quinny and then pretty much trying to run with the momentum after that power play.
How different were conditions today, first 3 p.m. start here in Ahmedabad, to the other games that you played here?
Well, slightly different. I think the second innings there, now the wicket got really good again. We bowled, so got fortunate with the toss again. But the guys bowled really well up front to take the wickets the way they did, and then left us batters with a bit less to chase, fortunately.
couple of oohs and ahs in the commentary box at some of the shots you've played. Is there anything you've changed in your game because you just seem so free-flowing at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's just to try get into rhythm as quick as possible. Not be so sort of rigid and structured. But yeah, it's a small difference. I suppose it's helped quite a bit, that sort of rhythm and flow with your hands when you're batting. And yeah, ultimately you just try lock in and see what the team needs. It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't, but yeah, you're quite grateful when it comes off.
It's wonderful to be able to go on this winning run, but as captain, do you feel the pressure at the top of the order that you've got to go out there and make a mark and get your team to follow from your lead?
Yeah, I mean, I think whether you're captain or not, you open the batting, that's your responsibility. So, but really nice, we've got a great relationship with him, and then Rick's at 3 as well. So, between the three of us, we've sort of unofficially said to each other we need to make sure that the team gets off to really good starts in the power play, especially when the wickets are good. So, fortunately, again, it came off today for us, and hopefully we can sort of continue with that trend.
Congratulations. Aiden Markram, our player of the match today.
So a 9-wicket win for South Africa. They go 970 Tamil bro. Hi bro. And now all eyes on the game in just a short while between India and Zimbabwe. To tend to tell you, you're going to be part of the commentary team for that game, but for now, defeat for West Indies are still in with a chance of reaching the semi-finals and potentially winning their third T20 World Cup. And we're going to be looking back now on the first title won in Sri Lanka 14 years ago, where we can join Henry Moran.
We're going to be looking back at the first T20 World Cup to be held in Asia, the 4th edition of the tournament in 2012, held in Sri Lanka.
Narayan moves in and bowls to Malinga, who swipes high into the sky. This could be it for the West Indies. The man underneath it who takes the catch, and the West Indies have won. And it really is the most remarkable match we've witnessed here.
Well, this was a tournament that saw England coming into the competition as reigning
rain
would be short-lived. West Indies lifting the title at the Privadasa Stadium against the hosts, and arguably favourites for that final. What about the story of the tournament? Well, one player who was involved in the England squad was Stephen Finn, England's leading wicket taker with 8 in the tournament, and following all the action as ever, Test match specialist Prakash Wakankar. So, Finny, first of all, what are your memories of a tournament that was at that point called the World T20 rather than the T20 World Cup?
My overriding memories, or memory, is the West Indies doing the Gangnam Style dance almost every day of the trip, it felt like. They're ahead of their time as a T20 team, the way that they played the game, and the way that they committed to playing the game. So, yeah, that teamed with that blooming dance that I had to encounter, especially when we lost to them in the second round phase of the tournament. As we walked through the hotel lobby, they were all doing the Gangnam Style dance to the music as we somberly walked through to our rooms. So,
if we go through how the tournament worked, first and foremost, it was a competition that saw just 27 matches compared to the 2020 edition, where 55 games take place, half as many games, and so it really was a condensed competition in those days. You actually had to do pretty badly not to qualify for the Super 8, so 2 out of the 3 sides in each group would go through to the Super 8 phase, when the tournament would then move into a different gear. Top 2 teams in the Super 8 through to the semi-finals, and that's a sort of more familiar passage, if you like, from the more modern editions of the competition. So just briefly, the groups as they were back then: England, India, Afghanistan, Australia, West Indies, Ireland, Sri Lanka, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and then Pakistan, New Zealand and Bangladesh. And so, Prakash, back in those days, it really was fast and furious.
It was short, sharp, and even though the group phase was meant to let the top teams go through, I think there was a lot more riding on every game, because you knew if you sort of slipped up, you could, especially if you were in a group like the one that had Pakistan, New Zealand, and Bangladesh. That was the group.
First one காமிச்சீங்களே, அது already பண்ணிருக்கேன். அதுல வந்து
like Finny said,
என்னோட ஃபேஸ மாத்த முடியல.
I remember Sri Lanka, particularly around
around Colombo was about the West Indies team's hotel, all the stuff that was going on there because there were breaks in the tournament, the restaurants they were visiting, the music that was playing, and of course Sri Lanka has given their absolute passion and love for music. They had adopted a lot of the calypso music, and it was just a fantastic atmosphere throughout that tournament, particularly as the Super 8s came around.
And only 3 venues were used as well. The Premadasa in Colombo, Palakeli, and the Mahinda Rajapaksa Stadium in Hambantota, which with a capacity of 35,000 international airport. I think last I checked had 1 flight per day in that part of the country, right in the deep south. It was 3 venues. It was men's and women's tournaments side by side as well. And it feel like a real hub and party of international cricket.
Yeah, it was great, and that was my first T20 World Cup that I played in. I missed out on selection in the 2010 one, as I just started playing for England then, and thought I might have a chance, and was disappointed not to be in it, and then was selected for this 2012 one, and yeah, to have the shortest format of the game that wasn't as dynamic and powerful as it is now, played at 3 venues. It clearly challenged teams in different ways. There were quite a few low scores, including our defeat to India in the Super 8s phase of the tournament was particularly bad. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and my first taste of having a smaller hub where all the players were in the same hotel. You're bumping into people the whole time, but then going out there and representing England, it was great fun.
Yeah, we'll go through England's tournament then, first and foremost, before moving on to, I suppose, the crunch end of the competition. England entering the tournament, as I mentioned, as the reigning champions, but though they started well against Afghanistan, massive victory, 116 runs, Luke Wright, 99 not out. Missing a century off the final ball, but then collapsing to 8-all out against India, their lowest T20 total at the time, and I think it was Harbhajan Singh and Piyush Chawla who spun England away. England struggling against spin is not necessarily a new condition.
No, bounce in Sri Lanka, you can see that ball bouncing quite a lot. So it's particularly tricky, and the guys at that stage hadn't really been exposed to the IPL, weren't that familiar with the players that we were playing against, because there were some lesser known names in that team as well. Yeah, we got caught on the hop on that one. That wasn't the Super 8, sorry, that was the first. I said it was the Super 8s in my opening, but that was the first group stage, and was a bit of a shock and a bit of a knock to our confidence at that stage.
You'd have to do well, as I say, not to qualify. Indeed, England did, despite that massive defeat against India. The other qualifiers for the Super 8 phase, pretty predictable, really, I think it's fair to say, given the way that the tournament worked. So we saw qualification with England, New Zealand, Sri Lanka and West Indies going into Group E, and then Group F, as it was termed, Australia, India, Pakistan and South Africa. So pretty predictable, but immediately, Prakash, you've got 2 Super 8 groups. They are packed full of superstars. It was a really sort of condensed, exciting phase.
It certainly was, and it brought out some really good games as well. I mean, there were some tight games. There was just a hint of I think India particularly not making it through created a huge flutter, and I think the only thing that we could fall back on as Indians, as we typically would, is to say, but we won the one game that mattered. We beat Pakistan. And I think it was a very different world back then. We're talking almost, almost a decade and a half back. And I think it was one of those things. I mean, India, like Finney said, did have a few new faces. Irfan Pathan really was coming on. Zahir didn't play that game against England in spite of being who he was. Harbhajan had been in the wilderness till that tournament began. Piyush Chawla was someone who was in. India's current coach, Gautam Gambhir, was actually vice captain of that tournament. And having won in 2007, I think the expectations were very high. But the fact is that in that tight group of 4, India couldn't get past to get the 2 wins that they would have needed at least to be able to qualify.
Just briefly looking at some of the names on show, what amazes me is both the combination of names that are still around, bearing in mind we're 14 years on now. You look at the Afghanistan squad, and Mohamed Nabi still part of things from England's point of view. Joss Butler, part of the squad then. Admittedly, some names that have disappeared now from international cricket. Keys Wetter was England's wicketkeeper. Michael Lum had opened the batting and the success in 2010. A young Owen Morgan, you were there, Finney, of course. Graham Swan, Luke Wright, and again, India's side. I mean, the names that were in it: MS Dhoni, Gautam Gambhir, Ashwin, Khan, Kohli, Raina, Sehwag was there, Rohit Sharma, Yuvraj, Harbhajan. Australia, a side that included the likes of a young Pat Cummins, just 19 years old, the Hussies, Mitchell Starc, David Warner, and the list goes on. And then you look at that Sri Lanka side as well, and for me that was just one of the absolute great teams, with Jayawardene, Matthews, Chandimal, Dilshan, Harath, Malinga, Mendes, both Mendes, Sangakkara, Tiramani. I mean, just wonderful names. It sort of almost feels like we can be at a point now where we can sort of hark back to a golden age in some ways.
We did, and like every tournament, I mean, you mentioned the two Mendeses, but Ajantha Mendes really did set that tournament alight on home pitches, and there were these remarkable sort of games where, from having played the earlier editions in non-Asian conditions, this was the first time it was in playing on what is often called low, slow turning pitches, and it just brought about that additional excitement, because I think the average scores dropped, the ball had a greater say, batters weren't just there to try and hit the ball out of the park, they had to adjust and adapt, and I think it made for a fantastic tournament. It really did.
Yeah, Jack Callis was part of the South Africa squad as well. I mean, there's brilliant names looking at it.
Yeah, and that was the most exciting thing about it. You kind of there as I was I think 22 at the time, 22, 23. And you're there in amongst all these players that you've watched play on TV. That was my first experience of a world tournament. So, yeah, you played against these guys for the last couple of years, but then to have everyone in one place, you kind of go down to breakfast every morning. That's so right. You're down there, and it's it was a bizarre feeling, and unfortunately we played that well throughout the tournament. We were kind of just clinging on all the way through, hoping that things would go.
And in some ways, it was a bit of a novel experience, I suppose, because in those days, it wasn't quite the cross-pollination between T20 tournaments that meant that you were rubbing shoulders with these names on a yearly basis. Actually, more of a novelty scene.
Yeah, and that's one of the benefits of the England players. Around 2016, I think it was, when the attitude changed towards the IPL to allow the players to go and play. In those years, in the early 2010s, I'd always put my name in for the auction to the ECB. You'd send your forms in, you'd say, please, will you sign this? And you'd just get an email back about 3 minutes later saying, no, you can't. And you never rubbed shoulders with those people. So when you then came up against them, one, you didn't know that much about their game from having chatted to them, as you would do in the IPL. And the experience of learning off them, Joss Butler in particular, speaks loads about going to the IPL and learning so much about playing the game that's made him a better player. So it can only have been a good thing, but certainly then it was unusual to be rubbing shoulders in such close proximity to those great players.
Yeah, and that West Indies squad, by the way, you mentioned them. I mean, some of the all-time greats of T20 cricket were playing, captained by their coach for this year's edition in 26, Darren Sammy, had Dwayne Bravo as well. Darren Bravo was there. Fidel Edwards, Chris Gale, of course, Karen Pollard, Dennis Ramdin, Andre Russell, Marlon Samuels.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he was there and causing mischief.
Well, they had everything that you would want for a T20 team. The wrist spin in Badri, mystery spin in Narayan, power, Gale, Bravo, Samuels, Pollard. It was a team that would survive in world tournaments now, which is not the case for most of those teams that were playing then. So very much ahead of their time. And what Darren Sammy did, and what he's been able to do across his life as a West Indian captain and now coach, administrator, is bring those guys together, to feel as though that sense of togetherness and collectiveness moving towards something is something that you really felt in that tournament, and that was kind of encapsulated with the way that you'd walk through the hotel lobby and there was about 20 of them dancing to Gangnam Style as you walked in.
Yes, I mean, you know, what then became IPL folklore, one has to remember, actually began in that tournament, whether it was Dwayne Bravo doing his particular steps, or indeed, you know, names like Andre Russell and of course Chris Gayle with all his sort of histrionics and the razzmatazz around him and the RCB. They lit up the IPL, let's be honest. And I think they earned themselves a phenomenal following. Coincidentally,
you're wearing your 2012 hat, Prakash.
It's pure coincidence, but it's one of my favorites because I just loved the way the logo was. It's sort of modeled on the Sri Lankan or the Sinhalese script.
Bro, first batting எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு நல்லா ஆடுவான்னு நினைக்கிறேன் அபிஷேக்.
But it really was a tournament that, as I keep saying, I think brought to Asia in a way that it hadn't been.
அவனுக்கு ஸ்கோர் போர்டு பார்த்து தான் அவன் வேற அப்படியே மெதுவா ஆடணுமா
what we do for these tournaments actually you get a little backpack when you go into a room and you check in, because it's an ICC event, everything's controlled by the ICC, so you go in and you've got a backpack with Sri Lanka 2012, and in it you've got a boot bag, a towel, a key ring, a mug for the players. Yeah, I've still got my towel at home. My Sri Lanka 2012, probably needs to be thrown away 14 years ago, doesn't it?
Not a bit of it.
It's still in my towel trunk at home.
Oh dear, not a bit of it. One thing I'd forgotten about the England squad, by the way, Finney, no Kevin Peterson at the time, because he was in international exile after all that had happened in the series against South Africa the preceding summer.
Yeah, and I think that gave Johnny Bairstow his chance to come in, batting at number 4. I think he shuffled up and down the order a bit depending on the situation, but there were a few games where he batted at number 4, and clearly Johnny went on to be a fantastic player. He was very early in his international career then, so Kevin was a big miss in a couple of those games, especially the game against Sri Lanka, which was in my mind it was a quarter final, but it was the last group game of the Super 8s for us, and if we won it we would make it through to the next stage of the tournament, to the semi-finals, even though we hadn't played that well up until that point. So we went into that game feeling as though it was a quarter final. Over the line, he'd have helped in that situation.
Yeah, well, it was a knockout. England played against the West Indies, lost 2 wickets in the first over, chasing 180. Then big partnership between Morgan and Hales, but eventually falling 15 runs short. Then Stephen Finn starred 3 for 16 against New Zealand, 6-wicket win, and then the eventual, as it was, a knockout. So England needed to beat Sri Lanka, and then Lasith Malinga did what he tends to do.
And Malinga will bowl the last ball of the third over. The crowd right behind Malinga as he runs into goal to Hales with a wide slip. And another Yorker, that should be out. That is definitely out. Striking Hales, a tall man on the pad, and Lasith Malinga has got 3 wickets in the over. And England chasing that 170.
5 for 31, 3 wickets in 4 balls, and even though there was 50 from Samit Patel, England lost by 19 runs and eliminated.
Yeah, me and Jade Dernbach we were both not out at the end. I was 1 from 3, and I remember facing Malinga, and it was the only real time that I faced him in international cricket, and Yorkers, slow balls, I couldn't pick him, so I was just flailing around at the end.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic occasion. I remember it well, with the noise around, Malinga running in, and just that sense of event every time. You saw these superstars who were becoming real household names around the world, but in Sri Lanka, Prakash, these guys were just the absolute, they were the kings of the world.
Oh, without question, but also, like you said earlier, Henry, I think the quality, if I may be bold enough to say, the quality of human beings in that Sri Lankan team, just the people like Jayawardene, Sangakkara, Vas had just finished up, but you know, seeing the emergence of Ajantha Mendes, Malinga, Slinga Malinga, and all the other stuff. I think it was the warmth of the occasion, the warmth of the Sri Lankan people, just the environment. I think it was simpler, cleaner, less complicated to a large extent, and I think it was wonderful. But in India, I know that a lot of people really understood net run rates after India fell away.
Indeed, I'm going to get onto that because hosts Sri Lanka, they qualified, as did West Indies, because they won a super over against New Zealand to qualify from Group 1. So it was Sri Lanka and West Indies that qualified at the expense of England and New Zealand. And then in Group 2, there was a three-way tie. Australia, Pakistan and India, all with 2 wins. Final group match against South Africa. India needed to win by 31 runs to qualify. They, in the end, won by 1 run, eliminated on net run rate. So through went Australia and Pakistan.
That's right. And I remember this distinctly because people say, but we won the game. How can we not have qualified? And then people were sitting and calculating net run rates and calculators and what have you. And there was a huge sense of disappointment because the logic at that time was, you won the last game. You've got to have qualified, surely. Or was it to be?
Not a bit of it. Real shock. I mean, it almost seems implausible India wouldn't qualify for a knockout stage.
Well, it does now. It certainly does now. And yeah, the net run rate is again something that from that tournament onwards everyone was a lot more wary of, and that's why at this stage of the group, when we're watching England play here, you're constantly thinking, what do they need to do to improve their net run rate, and that was probably born there.
Yeah, South Africa didn't win a single game in that group. They were eliminated despite the fact of having a side captained by AB de Villiers. Hashim Amla was there, Duplessis, Dumini, Callis, Morning Morkel, Dale Steyn was part of that squad. It was a brilliant side, but perhaps you look at it and you think, well, the big strength was perhaps the fast bowling and not necessarily those friendlier conditions. And so it was a side that fell away, and so we headed to the semi-finals where Sri Lanka took on Pakistan, West Indies took on Australia, and 2 reasonably comprehensive victories, really. Sri Lanka beating Pakistan by 16 runs, Jai Wardner with 42, and then West Indies hammering Australia by 74 runs with Chris Gale 75 not out of 41.
Saved it for that semi-final, didn't he? I mean, it's sort of been, by his standards, a little bit below par through the tournament till that stage, and then he really came to the fore in that semi-final. Just dismantled Australia's bowling.
Yeah, it was a spectacular display from Chris Gale, and so I'm not sure it was a final necessarily that you thought was a bit of a surprise in the players that are in it. Maybe you would now with hindsight and looking at the 2 teams involved. But then, Vinny, there were so many good players part of those sides. I mean, indeed there are today, but at that point, Sangakkara, Jai Wardner, Matthews, Mendes. It was a brilliant Sri Lanka team, a golden generation.
Well, especially in their own conditions, and when you look back on it in retrospect, the West Indies were the best T20 team in that tournament with the way that they set up and their attitude towards the game, and the way that they performed throughout the tournament. And you would always expect a home team to go far in any tournament, just given the familiarity with the conditions and the fact it was only played at those 3 grounds throughout the tournament. The wickets maybe got a touch tired, which would have suited the skill, especially of those Sri Lankan batters. You look at some of those greats in there and their ability to play on tricky pitches. So, yeah, not all that surprising in hindsight, but yeah, when you look at the might of India and how England have developed over the years, they're not 2 teams when you look back now that you think might be there.
An amazing final as well, because once we got to the Premadasa for that final, I remember the streets around the ground were heaving hours before the game started, and indeed it was 2 games on that day, because there was a women's final as well, where England were beaten by Australia. A familiar tale, as Charlotte Edwards' side were beaten up the final hurdle by the Australian team, who were beginning that wonderful golden run of theirs through the 2010s. But in the men's final, Sri Lanka, the home favourites, up against West Indies, and West Indies, after 10 overs, were 32 for 2. Chris Gale having managed just 3 runs from 16 balls.
Yep. Waiting for Samuels to come and do his job.
And he did. Marlon Samuels 78 or 56, including off Lasith Malinga, and I'd forgotten this, 5 sixes in a single over.
Yeah, and that's good. That's the game, isn't it? That there, and Marlon Samuels, for all of the power and destruction of the other players, you always felt as though when you were playing against the West Indies that Samuels was playing the anchor role and looking to bide his time, but clearly saw an opportunity against the seam of Malinga, even though such a skillful bowler, clearly, to put him under pressure, took the risk, and ultimately that's what won the game.
Yeah, and so it was only 137 for 6, but those 78 runs from 56 balls were absolutely priceless. Halfway stage, though, Prakash. If you're Sri Lanka, you're thinking 138, home conditions, the sort of batting we've got.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that was yet another example of runs on the board, pressure of a final, and of course they hadn't thought that they would be beaten in their own game by that man, Sunil Narine.
And the other point, I guess, Stephen, is that in those days, players weren't quite as adept and used to the mental calculations of a T20 run chase.
Yeah, and I think players also then weren't as good at hitting sixes. So in a short chase like that, I don't know if Samuels did it to Sri Lanka in the first innings, but it was unusual for someone to come and smack sixes and change the game in a final like that. Whereas now, a short chase, it's one innings from someone with these deep batting lineups that teams have that wins you that game. But I blow my own trumpet, but I bowled all of my overs that I could have done in the tournament, and I didn't get hit for 1-6 in the entire tournament. So like that shows the change in attitude in the game between now and then, and Sri Lanka's players weren't able to do that, and then crumpled under the pressure and expectation.
I mean, if you cast your mind back or look at the scorecard, you'll see that only 3 Sri Lankan players got into double figures in that game, in that final, and 2 of them were players that you would expect to, which is Jayawardene and Sangakkara, and it was only Nuwan Kulasekara, better known for his bowling, who got into double figures. So really, I think the stranglehold by both Badri and then I think Sunil Narine probably reaped benefits of some of that, was what put paid to Sri Lanka's chances of winning a home World Cup.
Sikandar Azhar licensed,
as you mentioned, Prakash, it ended up being the squeeze, the spin that did the damage with quite brilliance, as we've seen time and again from Sunil Narine, with 3 for 9 his figures in that final. Darren Sammy, meanwhile, 2 for 6, and Sri Lanka collapsed to 101. Losing by 36 runs. Yeah,
it was a comprehensive win, chasing something that, as you rightly said, Henry, at the halfway stage, the Sri Lankans would have thought, okay, let's put the drinks in the freezer to get them ready, but it wasn't to be.
Narine moves in and bowls to Malinga, who swipes high into the sky. This could be it for the West Indies. The man underneath it, who takes the catch, and the West Indies have won. And it really is the most remarkable match we've witnessed here. They've won by 36 runs, a match that halfway through their innings they seemed absolutely destined and nailed on to lose. But Marlon Samuels, with a brilliant 78 from 56 balls and also taking wickets, has helped propel West Indies to a thoroughly deserved win. They're dancing there now, all of their backroom staff there, the management, all those who have worked so hard are there joining with them. I don't know what all that dancing means, much of it. They do, and they've been practicing throughout this tournament, and now they can do it absolutely in the centre stage. As the fireworks go up, the crowd is absolutely stunned as the West Indies celebrate a well-deserved triumph in this World 2020. That is one of the most curious, unpredictable and strange 2020 matches I've ever seen. And it's worth remembering that halfway through their innings, the West Indies were 32 for 2, and they've won the match. And I don't think many people would have given them very much in the way of odds at that stage. Fireworks are going all over the place, lots of smoke, and that really is a truly remarkable victory.
They won a well-deserved maiden title.
And danced the night away.
Yes.
Well, they did indeed.
And then some.
I'm actually, you were quite glad you weren't necessarily there for that. It would have been quite a party. Well, maybe you would want to have been there.
Well, I'd have liked to play in a World Cup final.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no doubt that those guys know how to celebrate, and I'm sure they did do that now.
Well, that was Stephen Finn wrapping up our memories of 2012 and the World Cup held in Sri Lanka. The World T20 won by a West Indies side who today, in 2026, have been pretty soundly beaten, it has to be said, by 9 wickets by South Africa in Ahmedabad. The first offering of our Super 8 Group 1 fixtures. Now we are in Chennai, the Chepauk Stadium, looking at an absolute picture in front of me. It is India, the hosts, against Zimbabwe, two sides that lost their opening fixtures, perhaps not so surprising in Zimbabwe's case, but a real upset. The manner of defeat for India in Ahmedabad against South Africa, who are the dominant force in Group 1. Pressure on the hosts, pressure on Zimbabwe in perhaps a slightly different way. We'll build it all up for you. Play underway in just over 10 minutes, but let's head to the middle. The two captains alongside Ravi Shastri.
The two captains, Surya Kumar Yadav, India, Sikandar Raza, Zimbabwe. Ranjan Madhukale is the match referee, and Gopal Krishna Hyundai is the toss rep, who will hand over the coin to Ranjan, who in turn will hand it over to Surya.
Fourth, fifth, Sikandar Raza.
Tail spin. What's it, Ranjan? So Sikandar, you won the toss. What have you decided?
Yeah, we're going to have a ball first. This is not your usual sort of a Chennai wicket. I can see they have made a few changes and it looks slightly moist as well. So we want to give ourselves the best chance for the seamers, especially now they're on song as well to try and make early inroads.
Now your side has threatened, has had their moments in this tournament. What are you looking forward to in this game?
Yeah, certainly from the last game, a bit of improvement in our fielding and also slightly execution with the ball as well. I think if we can restrict India for a low total as well, I think it will go a long way as well. And because of that, we made a change as well.
Now, big game this for both sides, a must-win game.
Certainly, as much as we're feeling the heat, I think our opposition will be feeling the same. So I think it's going to come down to the battle of nerves as well, and any team who can hold their nerves better will have a better chance to win the game.
And how's that hand of yours?
It's holding on right. We refuse to go for the X-ray. If it's bugger, then so be it.
And what's your team for today's game?
Yeah, we got one tactical change. We got Tino Tenda Maposa coming in for Graham Creamer.
Have a good one.
Thank you, Ravi bhai. Thank you.
Well, Surya, what would you have done?
No, we are happy with the decision. We were actually looking to bat first.
Must-win game. It's not often you're in a position like this, but sometimes under pressure could get the best out of the boys.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes pressure brings out best from you. When boys are ready, Wood in the camp is happy, relaxed. Hopefully, we enjoy our cricket tonight.
And we saw the huddle a little while earlier. Karthix speaking there, very animated. What's the mood like in the dressing room?
I think boosting a lot of energy in the camp. But yeah, boys are really happy, as I said, and the hurdle was too good. The way he spoke in the hurdle, experienced player, he knows what he brings to the table. Team required that, and I think we'll have a good day tonight.
What difference are you looking in this game from the last game? Improvement-wise?
I think all the departments, even if you win or you lose a game, you learn something out of it. I think just forget what happened in the last game. Play the same way as you've been playing last whole year. Enjoy the game and forget everything. Be fearless.
And what's your combination?
We have two changes. Akshar Patel comes in for Washington Sundar and Sanju Samson comes in for Rinku Singh.
Big noise. Now, is Sanju going to keep?
Sanju is going to keep, yes.
Have a good one.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, that's the news from the centre. It is Zimbabwe who won the toss and they've decided to bowl first.
Thanks to Ravi Shastri out there in the middle with the two captains to confirm Zimbabwe have won the toss. They are going to bowl first. India's hopes, meanwhile, given a little bit of a boost by that big victory for South Africa against West Indies earlier on today. The permutations are very complicated. Suffice to say, they just need to get on with winning this game. Both sides know that, having lost their openers. I'm very pleased to say that alongside us for commentary today, we have the former Zimbabwe captain Tatenda Taibu, but also a test match special debut for former India opener W.V. Raman. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining us, and what a scene this is in your hometown.
My pleasure, Henry. Good evening to everybody, and what a setup here at the Chepauk Stadium. A full crowd, appreciative crowd, knowledgeable crowd, and it's a nice stadium to play cricket in, and I played a lot of cricket here. Sure, every time I see a match being played, even now, I want to get out there and play.
Well, indeed, rather you than me when it comes to Jasprit Bumrah running in and bowling, but you know, each to their own, I suppose. Right, Tatenda, we'll get a word from you in just a moment, but the two sides are lining up at the far end of the ground. We're ready for the national anthems, and all around us, those in blue are standing.
1 to 10 players are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 captain. Ryan Ball, Myers, Ryan Ball, Sikandar Raza, Tony Mayuka, Tasinga, Masukivi, Brad Evans. So one player missing, Richard Denker, please ceremony. Tinonda Maposa. Tinonda Maposa. Tinonda Maposa. Paris Tinonda Maposa. Tinonda Maposa, there is no player. Oh, there. Tinonda Maposa. என்ன ஸ்வாப் ஆக மாட்டேங்குது why okay swap rights Money, Brian Bennett, Dion Myers, Ryan Bull, Sikandar Raza, Tony Maizunga, Tasmin, Brad Evans, Tinonda Maposa, Brad Evans, Tinonda Maposa, Richard. Last one is missing Mr.
Great applause from India.
Okay, now set captain. Captain is Sikandar Raza. Okay, wicket keeper வந்து set wicket keeper. Okay, finally match is going to start. We also going to start. AMD Zimbabwe Stadium T20 lineup T20 World Cup T-set Abhishek Sharma, Sanju Samson, Ishan Kishan. Okay, lineup perfect.
Well, what a noise around this famous venue. Okay. It really is a spectacular scene in front of us. Those blue replica jerseys with Rohit, Hardik, Dhoni, of course, Virat on the back of them. And some of the names that will be gracing this surface as well in due course. But it's almost go time. Tatenda Taibu is with us as well, former Zimbabwe captain. And disappointment in the first game, Tatenda, but what an opportunity this is.
Of course, disappointing after having played so well and having won all the games in the group stages, and then had a big loss against West Indies. I think you have to attribute that to the two drop catches. I think Hetmeyer being dropped at 9 was a big blow, and he went on to utilize that.
Yeah,
so they're still full of confidence, and they'll really be looking forward to cause another upset.
Well, indeed, and that is the opportunity. W.B. Raman as well here with us. It's a huge chance for Zimbabwe because all the pressure's on India.
Yes, it is, because they've done well in the group stage and they're looking forward to having a good game here. And the pitch is going to stay true right through the duration of the game. It's not like the pitches of old, what we've seen in recent years, whereas on the slower side it deviates a little bit for the spinners. But this one here is nice and true. You've seen a lot of good scores being scored in this World Cup at this venue. And that's the reason why Zimbabwe is deserved to bowl first on winning the toss. I think they will fancy their chances for the simple reason the pitch is going to be good here.
we shall wait and see. Tatenda, before you have a little bit of a break, what do you think they'll be looking to try and limit India to in this first innings?
I think part of the decision why they've chose to bowl first is they've really been doing well with their seamers and in the first 6 overs. And I think on average, the Zimbabwean bowlers are top of the table when it comes to taking wickets off the seamers, and Blessing Zarabani has been
started bro team la correct perfect
well and managed to
ella team download panni correct
really trying to
Sanju Samson irangitaanga
while you're doing what
stadium
what is working so well for Zimbabwe, and that is bowling in the first 6 overs.
Indeed. Watch on, and we'll be with you in a little while. Tatenda Taibu, part of our team today. Wonderful to have Tatenda with us, as well as I mentioned, W.V. Raman, who knows this part of the world very well, former coach for a number of years with the India women's side as well.
The team that
Muzrabani, somebody who's got 6 power play wickets already this tournament against Abhishek Sharma, who's had a poor tournament, and Sanju Samson, who come into the side opening the batting. You've got to say, there's a little bit of heat perhaps on these 2 India openers.
Yes, India have not had the best of stars. The power plays
prediction
have been reasonably
today
ordinary.
And
that trend will change tonight. And they also got a left-right combination
190 score
tonight. And as far as I'm concerned, Sanju Samson is better off batting the top 3. And it's good he's come back into the side, providing that little bit of option for the team management to have a left-right combination. And he can strike the ball really well. And as I said, the surface is good here. He will relish batting if he just gives himself a little bit of time early on.
It looks a beautiful surface from here, it has to be said. We are right in amongst it with the crowd, as I see Sikandar Raza approaching 40 years old, such a mainstay, such a key part of this recovery and resurgence of Zimbabwe cricket in recent times. Just sprinting towards us, getting a few little bursts of energy into those legs. I don't think you need much encouragement to get energy, because goodness me, there is a lot of noise around this ground. You can feel the whole place shaking, rocking and rolling, and it's just some place to be. It took us well over an hour to go about the 3 miles from where we're staying to the ground earlier on today. It was a long old journey with fans just so keen to get down towards this wonderful, iconic venue with the various blocks of stands, with those elevated pitched roofs that are held up with the masts. And if you know what I mean, for English fans, it looks a bit like the pavilion at the Aegeus Bowl. The resemblance ends, I would say, as we see the start of the game, and it's going to be Richard Ngavara running into bowl. First delivery, left arm over, beautifully angled towards short third, and it's fielded well by the tall figure of Blessing Muzrabani. And we are up and running this crucial match in Group 1, and it is crucial because both of these sides lost their tournament opener. WV, what did you make of that first game up in Ahmedabad?
They'll be disappointed. The Indian boys would have been disappointed because they had a lot of depth in their batting, but still they could not put up enough runs. And even the effort to try and get close to the target, the net run rate came into play was not considered even, as they were losing wickets on a regular basis. So that would have been disappointing for them. But again, it's good to have a setback at the start of the group.
In comes Ngavara. It's bang down the ground. That's going to be runs.
Might
be 6 of them. And the noise in front of me, I can't see where the ball's gone, frankly, because it is just a sea of spectators on their feet to greet that white projectile heading our way. And a massive blow, cross-batted down the ground. Welcome to the tournament, Sanju Samson.
That would have been a great relief for him, because he missed out on a couple of games. He had a cameo when he played one game in between, but this would have brought a lot of relief, and it definitely gave him that fillip that he needed.
79 metres, cross-batted launch down the ground. 6 without loss, India.
Oh,
our view may be slightly obscured at times, but I wouldn't change it for the world. We are right in amongst it. Ngavara, with the crowd up and about, will begin his approach again from the edge of the circle. Runs in now, tall figure to the right-handed Sanju Samson, who will tickle that round the corner, down towards fine leg. The cheers up again, as it's going to be 4 more to the total. Whether it is off body or bat, we'll wait and see. It is a leg by signal from umpire Richard Kettleborough, and so So score moves to 10 without loss. It won't be on to the total for Sanju Samson, but it is India's total that stands into double figures already. Doesn't matter how they come.
As long as he has space, Sanju Samson is going to look to play shots, and he will do well when he gets the pace and the ball comes onto the bat. It's only when the bowlers start fiddling around with the pace, start to take the pace off, he gets into a little bit of a tangle.
And Guevara again runs in, bangs it in short. That's a good hostile ball. Heavy length that came up off the bat, high up, and back down the track to the bowler. So India, let me go through the two sides. Make a couple of changes. Out goes Washington Sundar. Also Rinku Singh, who's been back at home for compassionate reasons, is back with the squad but misses out today. In comes Sanju Samson. Also Akshay Patel, who was a mysterious omission, I think it's fair to say, for the last game. So it is Abhishek Sharma, Sanju Samson, who's going to keep wicket as well, in place of Ishan Kishan, who's batting at 3. Surya Kumar Yadav, the captain, at 4, as in comes Guevara again, running in, and this has gone in the air. Could be a chance of a catch. No, it'll drop short and safe. It wasn't a million miles away from the hands of the fielder running round, but Brad Evans is unable to get there quickly enough, and a couple of runs will be taken, 12 without loss, with the ball left of this first over.
There's some extra pace on that occasion from Guevara. That's what surprised Sanju Samson. He was shaping to play a pull shot, clear the infield, and he didn't get hold of it properly enough. Lucky for him, it eluded the fielder as well at mid-on.
Could easily have gone to hand, but didn't. So Surya Kumar Yadav, Tilak Varma, Hardik Pandya, Shivam Dubey, Akshay Patel, Arshdeep Singh, Varun Chakravarti, and Jasprit Bumrah. So the two changes for India, one change for Zimbabwe, a tactical change. She's Graham Kramer out of the side. In comes Tinatenda Maposa. And I'll go through their full lineup in just a moment. We've got a ball left of this first over. Wonderful atmosphere in Chennai. And Guevara into ball to Samson. Pace taken off it, and it's skewed out into the leg side. That's what you mentioned, WV, that variety of pace. That one down at 65 miles an hour. And a single is taken. So 13 without loss, 1 over gone. Zimbabwe line up with Brian Bennett. Tadiwanashe Muramani keeps wicket. Dion Myers, Sikandar Raza the captain, Ryan Burl, Tony Wiyonga, Tashinka, Zakina, Brad Evans, Tinatenda Maposa into the side, Blessing Gujrabani, and Richard Guevara. So that is how the two sides line up. I think it is fair to say that India's team is a slightly more familiar collection of names, but they've been mighty impressive, this Zimbabwe team in the tournament.
Yes, they have been. They surprised everybody because we were not fortunate enough to see them for a while play regularly in international cricket, but they've acquitted themselves really well. They played well as a team. It goes to show that you don't necessarily need a whole galaxy of stars in your side. You need to have a group of 11 players who can gel well and get it going on the field.
Well, here is a star in this Zimbabwe side, and that is Muzrabani, the tall fast bowler. 6 power play wickets already in the tournament. He'll be looking to add to that. Sanju Samson is forward in defence and pushes towards the offside. There'll be no run. Dion Myers runs in from cover to pick up. The Madras Cricket Club end of the ground with a small sign that just says established 1846. I wonder if those, however many years ago it is now. I've made the mistake here, WV, of trying to do mental calculations on air, which was a huge error on my part. It's 180 years ago.
Yeah, it was just about that. 179 odd, you can say.
Pushed into the offside. There'll be a run taken there. That's nicely worked away as Abhishek Sharma gets a big cheer coming onto strike. 14 without loss, India. I wonder what those all that time ago would have made of this scene when the Madras Cricket Club was founded.
In fact, the club day is going to be celebrated early next week. It's on the 5th of March, so that's going to be a great night. A lot of members turn up. It's a chance to meet the other members of the club who you don't get to meet frequently, and that has always been an event every member looks forward to. And it's an event that I'm looking forward to as well.
Well,
I bet, because it's a special place with a lot of history. It looks very different than how it has done over the years, of course. And happily, those stands over to my right that for a while weren't open, they're now well populated with India spectators. I've yet to spot a Zimbabwe shirt. There'll be a few. As in comes Musrabani. That's nicely, elegantly angled out towards deep backward point, but the spectators rather frustrated when they stand up to crane their necks over that 4x4 which is parked on the outfield as part of the promos for the tournament. Obscured their view, but there was a fielder waiting down there, and so it is just one taken. India 15 without loss. Reminder, mighty win for the imperious South Africa earlier.
Oh, 6
chasing down what became a decent target after they were in all sorts of bother, West Indies. 7 down, but ended up 176 for 8, but got there inside 17 overs, 9 wickets in hand, South Africa. Whacked away into the leg side. Is it going to be 6? Yeah, you bet it is. 6 runs over wide long on. Again, it's that cross-batted shot. Sanju Samson's enjoying this. It's set up off a length, and he flung his hands through it.
This is exactly what South Africa did very well against India, pulling back from the length, providing opportunities for the Indian batters to plonk their front foot ahead and go for a big hit. But Sanju Samson is such a type of player. He likes this kind of length deliveries, which are the hard length as it were, but he just likes to play deliveries pitched around just back of length because he stays there and gets the back.
Sanju Samson waits, pace taken slightly off it, and it wasn't too far away from dropping into the hands of Younger waiting at backward point. There was a moment where I think there would have been a little nervous look or two, but as it is, no harm done.
It's interesting that Abhishek Sharma is not been the best. So if he spends some time there, the non-strikers end, he'll calm it down, and when he gets in strike, he can get his rhythm back.
As Rabani to finish the over, pace taken off it, that's nicely played, rocking back, and huge cheers from a man wearing a Virat Kohli shirt down in front of me. It's cut off for 2 runs. That was a big cheer, but 10 from the over. India in a very healthy position, 23 without loss after 2, and that'll settle a few nerves out there.
Sound off on
Yeah, much needed start for India because they've been having a few issues with the top order, and the kind of start that they're looking for is probably on its way
commentary
now
வந்து அந்த
in this
ICC
game.
இதுதான் கேட்டுட்டு
And another
இருக்கேன். இப்போ
couple
நீங்க
of good overs like
லைவ்ல
this
கேக்குறீங்க பாருங்க, அந்த
just
கமெண்ட்ரி
about
தான்
calm
கேட்டுட்டு இருக்கேன்.
everybody down and also make these two out there in the middle more confident as well.
We're going to see Maposa into the
ஆமா,
attack.
லார்ஜ் பலிக்கு வந்திருக்காரோ அத பார்க்கல.
Getting an opportunity to
இருங்க பாப்போம். தமிழ்ல ஸ்விட்ச்
just
பண்ணுவோம்
try and
வீடியோ.
mix things
நான்
up a
இங்க
little
போனா
bit.
இங்கிலீஷ்ல தான் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கேன்.
It's not sort of Chepauk surface of years gone by where you're expected to turn
வீடியோ மட்டும் தான
square.
பார்க்கறேன். அதனால ஸ்விட்ச்
They've
பண்ணிட்டோம்
relayed the
தமிழ்ல.
square in recent times, and it is a lot flatter and happier for batting. It's no longer the days where you have dust bowls and think about all of those challenges. As we see Maposa, who is another of this clutch of young cricketers, 22 years old. First men's T20 World Cup. Runs in now.
அபிஷேக் சர்மா அன்னைக்கு கொஞ்சம் பார்த்து பொறுமையா தான் ஆடுறாங்க.
And there's half an appeal
எல்லா மேட்சும்
for
அந்த பாலே
a caught
சுத்துவான்,
behind,
சிக்ஸ்
but it came
அடிக்க.
off the
அன்னைக்கு
hip,
கொஞ்சம்
I
பார்த்து
think, more than that woody sound off the bat. Now, we can hear a few whistles in the background. Tell me about this, because Whistle Podu is the... What's that about?
Yeah, that's what the CSK fans relish doing during the IPL season. They bring in their whistles and then they blow to the whistles. And it's the kind of celebrations they indulge in with the whistles. But things have changed a little bit in different spheres, which has a bit of bearing to what they used to do then and what it is that they can perhaps not do now.
Here comes Maposa. As, a lovely lofted drive over the offside for a one bounce for Abhishek Sharma into his work with a glorious shot. 27 without loss.
That's trademark Abhishek Sharma. He's been working with Yuvraj Singh. A lot of people will remember Yuvraj Singh a no ball signal as well, which means he's got to bowl it again. And clearly overstepping a wide margin there was Maposa. And bowling it in the arc as well for Abhishek Sharma.
லாங் ஹேர் அப்படியே வளர்த்து வச்சிருக்கேன். ஹேர் கட் பண்ணும்போது ஃபங்க் விட்டேன், அது அப்படியே லாங் ஹேரா வளர்த்து வச்சிருக்கேன்.
not only have conceded 28 runs already in 2.1 now free hit for Abhishek Sharma to get stuck into. Maposa is in. Oh, it's going to be wide too. One more and the free hit remains. Signals wide again, then does that symbol above his head. Whatever best description is. I imagine there was a few South Yorkshire nightclubs when he was a young man that would have seen that dance move. The score stands at 29 without loss. India going at more than 13 and over so far. Very good start. Maposa with a bit of pressure now. Free hit. Oh, it's going to be wide again. And a fumble for the keeper. And then a yes, no, maybe for the extra run. And things just becoming a little bit awkward here for Zimbabwe. Is the occasion just getting to the young bowler?
Young bowler Maposa is making it very, very particular to try and land it on length, and in that bargain he's not getting it right as well, because he's just putting the ball there, not really releasing the ball well enough. And he's having a few problems as of now, but I'm sure that once the nerves settle down, he's going to do the job for his side.
It could do with landing one in the right sort of spot. Runs in again now, right arm over. That's a better looking ball, but it's a better looking shot as well. Down the ground, 4 or 6, I think probably just 4. It has landed just in front of the road, but it was a lovely, lovely free swing back over the bowler's head, down the ground. 4 runs and India are flying at 34 without loss.
Abhishek Sharma
நம்மளோட கம்யூனிட்டிக்காகவே வாங்கி வச்சிருக்கிறேன் டே லைவ் நாளைக்கு 10:30க்கு ரிலீஸ் ஆகும் 10:30க்கே லைவ் போட போறேன் நாளைக்கு நைட்டு போடுறேன் ஃபுல்லா
perhaps just in the extra cover arc, and that's the reason why he succeeds so well.
புது கேம்
best of bowlers
புதிய கேம்
waits now.
இனிமேல் யூ ஒன்லி சப்போர்ட் ரைட் எல்லாரும் சப்போர்ட் பண்ணுங்க பிடிச்சவங்க யாராவது போய் சப்போர்ட் பண்ணுங்க இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய பேர் நல்லா பண்ணுவாங்க நான் அப்பதான் ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கேன் எனக்குமே அவ்வளோ தெரியும் என்னோட நல்லா பண்றவங்க நிறைய
Just a second as if there might be trouble, but
RCB
is just a single. Still got 3 balls left.
நீ RCB ஃபேனா இருக்கலாம் ஆனா இன்னைக்கு சென்னையில தான் நடக்குது ஃபுல்லா சென்னை ஃபேன்ஸ் தான் இருப்பானுங்க கிரவுண்ட்ல
funny old tournament.
சஞ்சு அடிக்கடி கத்திட்டாங்க
and 15 against South Africa, but India
yesterday வந்து வீட்ல சப்பாத்தி சுட்டாங்க bro சப்பாத்தி plus முட்டை வச்சிருக்காங்க
Sanju Samson who's already 18 off 11
எக் தொட்டுக்கிட்டு சாப்பிட்டுட்டு
when his name
அப்படி பொரிச்சு ஒரு மாதிரி வச்சிருக்காங்க நல்லா இருக்கு இன்னைக்கு என்னன்னு
length right here, because he tried to full length to Abhishek Sharma. He got tonked, and now Sanju Samson
back to back
he relishes the back of length delivery. So we've got to wait and see what Maposa makes out of this combination. What
இப்பதான் அப்புறம் முட்டைன்னு சொன்னேன் சாப்பிடுவோம் இன்னைக்கு மதியானம் சிக்கன் பிரியாணி சாப்பிட்டேன்
to the right of the fielder at short third, and it is greeted with delirium by those in front of us. They keep this energy level up. They're going to all need a bit of darkened room, these fans, right in front of us for a good 3 or 4 days just to catch up on their sleep. I mean, it is the most extraordinary scene. Dancing, shouting, everyone cheered to the rafters. 39 without loss.
Sanju comeback போல RCB ஃபேனா இருந்தாலும் Sanju சப்போர்ட் பண்ணுவோம். We are Indians.
Poser with ball in hand is running in now.
ஏன்னா இந்த மேட்ச் ஜெயிச்சு பவுலிங் போடுறான் பாருங்க அவன் பேர் தான் மப்போசா சஞ்சு சாம்சனுக்கு இந்த ஓவர் போட்டுட்டு இருக்கான் பாருங்க
throw comes in hits the stump
நம்மளுக்கு கீழே ஜிம்பாப்வே இருக்கானுங்க
you want to get in touch by the way
என்னன்னா வெஸ்ட் இண்டீஸ் தோத்துட்டானுங்க ஒரு மேட்ச் அதுல நமக்கு ஒரு லாபம் 1.79ல தான் இருக்கானுங்க அதை விட நம்ம தாண்டி போனோம் அப்பதான் வெஸ்ட் இண்டீஸ்க்கு மேல வர முடியும் அதுக்கு இந்த மேட்ச் நல்லா ஜெயிக்கணும் ப்ரோ இப்போதைக்கு நம்ம -3ல இருக்கோம் அவனுக்கு 1.79ல இருக்கானுங்க நெட் ரன் ரேட் இன்னைக்கு தோத்தனால அவங்களுக்கு இப்படி குறைஞ்சிருச்சு எவ்வளோல இருந்தானுங்க 6 அப்படி 6 வருமா
40 without loss after just 2.5 overs.
இன்னைக்கு எப்படி 200 அடிச்சு ஜிம்பாப்வே சீக்கிரமா அவுட் ஆகணும்.
What has been a fairly brutal over, it has to be said.
ஒருத்தர் இருப்பான் bro.
Pace taken right off it, smashed down the ground towards us. It's 6 more.
RCB தான் ஜிம்பாப்வே கப் அடிக்கணும்
சொல்லுவாங்க. Onto the concrete in the section of
ஜிம்பாப்வே கப் அடிக்கணும்.
That bit of ground beyond the boundary right in front of where we are. I didn't see it land.
வந்துருவாங்க நமக்கு இப்போதான் வந்திருக்காங்கல்ல அப்படியே கொஞ்சம் படிப்படியாக வந்து இன்னும் 5 வருஷத்தில் அவங்களும் ஒரு சாம்பியன் டீமாக 6 கிரவுண்டில் பாட்டெல்லாம் போட்டுட்ருக்கானுங்க. என் சேனலுக்கு காப்பி ரைட்ஸ் கொடுக்காம இருந்தால் சரி. இது சொல்ல மறந்துட்டேனே, நேற்று ஸ்ரீலங்கா ஃபேன்ஸ் எவ்வளோ நல்லவங்கன்னு சொன்னீங்க. ஸ்ரீலங்கா நேஷனல் ஆந்தம் இருக்குல்ல, அதுக்கு காப்பி ரைட் கொடுத்து வச்சுருக்கான் யூடியூப்காரன். பாவீங்களா, நேஷனல் ஆந்தம்க்கெல்லாம் காப்பி ரைட் கொடுப்பீங்களாடா? என்னடா இது ஸ்ரீலங்கா அந்த ஆடியோ மியூட் பண்ணி ரிமூவ் பண்ண அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் காப்பி ரைட்.
You've been looking forward to doing that. I can see it. I can see it in your eyes.
ஒரு என்னடா அது காப்பி ரைட் வந்திருக்கேன் போய் பார்த்தா நேஷனல் ஆந்தம், ஸ்ரீலங்கா நேஷனல் ஆந்தம் இருக்கு.
Honestly, 46 of that.
நேத்து 44K ப்ரோ வியூஸ் வந்திருக்கு.
We do.
44K வியூஸ், 50 சப்ஸ்கிரைபர்ஸ். இது சரியான வியூஸ்.
And so it'll just be a single.
India comeback rolling. கண்டிப்பா comeback அடிச்சே ஆகும். இல்லனா வீட்டுக்கு போற நிலைமை ஆயிரும்.
Quite like that, but it does feel today like there's
comeback அடிக்கணும் plus West Indies கூட ஜெயிக்கணும்.
Has to be said.
எல்லா ICC ஆடியும் வேண்டாம், only face cam voice. அது போதும், நம்ம தமிழ் ஆடியன்ஸுக்கு அது போதும். இப்போ பார்க்குறாங்கல்ல நேற்று ஸ்ரீலங்கன் ஆடியன்ஸ், ஹிந்தி ஆடியன்ஸ், அவங்களுக்கு அந்த ஆடியோ இருந்தால் தான் கொஞ்சம் நேரம் தான் பார்ப்பாங்க. இல்லைனா நம்ம பேசுகிற மொழி தெரியலன்ட்டு போயிடுவாங்க. அவங்களுக்காக தான் போட்டுருக்கேன், இல்லைனா போட மாட்டோம்.
You want a team to feel at the halfway stage it's chaseable. Musrabani outside the off stump. Ooh, it wasn't too far away.
நான் கொஞ்ச நேரம் சைலண்டா இருக்கப்ப அந்த ஆடியோ பேசுறனால
appeal and the keeper's hand was up.
அது ஒரு என்கேஜ்மென்ட்.
I heard a little
something. ரொம்ப சைலண்டா தான்
அப்படியே
போறோம் பார்த்துட்டு என்ன அமைதியா இருக்கு.
But Sikandar Raza, who's looking for support as to whether it is worth going upstairs.
ஸ்ட்ரைக்ல இருக்கான்.
Musrabani, the keeper, who
இன்னைக்கு சூப்பரா ஆடுறான் ப்ரோ. எல்லா பாலும் அடிக்க போல, பார்த்து தான் ஆடுறான்.
There's not anything else if it isn't.
ஆடியோல உங்களுக்கு சேனல் ப்ராப்ளம் வரும்னு சொன்னேன், காப்பிரைட். அப்படியா? இல்ல இது இதுல வரல ப்ரோ. மேக்ஸிமம் நான் பாட்டு போடுறாங்க, ஆனா அதுல வரல. ஏன்னா இது லைவ் ரேடியோ தானே, ஃப்ரீ ஆடியோ தான், அதனால அதுல இருந்து வரனால வரல, எந்த ப்ராப்ளமும் வரல. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி நிறைய தடவை யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன் லைவ். அந்த நேஷனல் மாத்தம் மட்டும் சத்தமா போட்டானுங்க, அதனால போட்டாங்களா என்னன்னு காப்பிரைட். கிரவுண்ட்ல போடுற மியூசிக்லாம் மெதுவா தான் கேக்குது, அதனால பிரச்சனை.
Sanju Samson is ensured that they don't stick to
Gmail வந்துச்சா? இல்ல ப்ரோ, Gmail வர்றதுக்குள்ள நான் உள்ள போய் பார்த்துட்டேன். உள்ள போய் பார்க்கலனா காலையில Gmail வரும். நான் நைட்டே உள்ள போய் பார்த்துட்டேன். அவுட் ப்ரோ, சாம்சன்
which is what he likes to do.
எப்படி ப்ரோ அவுட் ஆனா? என்ன ப்ரோ?
Next delivery flogged away
into the offside.
Running in, takes the catch. And the pace off tactic works. Fans are up in front of me and now it is hands on ahead because the catch has been taken. Samson goes after a rocket powered start for India. 24 from 15, 48 for 1 and Musrabani strikes in the power play.
அன்னைக்கு அப்படி தான் வந்து டக்கு டக்குன்னு அடிச்சுட்டு அப்படியே போயிட்டான்.
Zimbabwe once again taking the pace off.
பரவாயில்ல, பால் எதுவும் திங்கியாம அடிச்சிட்டு ரன் அடிச்சிட்டு போயிட்டான். அது வரைக்கும் சந்தோஷம்.
In a bid to play a full shot and clear the boundary, doesn't get hold of it properly, and this is something that he's always done.
என்ன டவுட்? இசான் கிஷன் ஒன் டவுன் வந்து விளையாட முடியும்,
and he'll be disappointed the way he's been dismissed once again.
ஐயோ, விக்கெட் கீப்பர் யாரா நின்னுட்டு இருக்காங்க? ஹர்திக் பாண்டியாவா? இந்தியன் டீம்ல பாருங்க, விக்கெட் கீப்பரை மாத்தி வச்சிட்டேன், வேற யாரோ நின்னுட்டு இருக்காங்க.
Start into something substantial.
இசான் கிஷன்,
that's what is going to hurt him. And India 48 for 1.
சென்னை crowd cringe.
Still a brilliant start, but Musrabani is the man who's done it once again.
சென்னை crowd தான் knowledgeable crowd.
Just give Zimbabwe a chance to settle a few nerves, have a conversation out there, grab a drink, and for India now is Ishan Kishan walking to the middle.
Normal match ke evlo
a batting lineup that is enough to strike fear into the hearts of most, isn't it? It really is.
The surprising thing is that they've not done really
well. ஏதோ ஒரு மேட்ச் வந்தாங்க, நேபாள ஏதோ ஒரு டீம், ரெண்டு டீமே சின்ன டீம் தான். அந்த மேட்ச்க்கு நிறைய crowd வந்தாங்க, அதுவும் நைட் வீக் டேஸ்ல.
Against the spinners as yet. We know what he's capable of doing once in his rhythm, but until now it's not happened. But we got to wait for a while before Surya Kumar Yadav walks out. But Ishan Kishan can be quite a bit of a problem for the spinners.
ஐயா, அவன் வரது கேக்குது எனக்கு கேக்குது. எத்தனை காப்பிரைட் வர போகுதுன்னு தெரியல.
He knows his limitations.
மெதுவா தான் கேக்குது, அதனால பிரச்சனை இல்ல.
He's one who will play
the game the way he knows to play.
காப்பிரைட் வந்து பிரச்சனை இல்ல bro, மியூட் பண்ணிக்கலாம் டக்கு.
Or the situation the
ஸ்ட்ரைக்லாம் வராது.
and that's a
காப்பிரைட் நோ ப்ராப்ளம். ஸ்ட்ரைக் வந்தா தான் ப்ராப்ளம்.
Yeah, it's a quality that described by Stephen Finn that
ஸ்ட்ரைக்லாம் அடுத்தவங்க வந்து யூஸ் பண்றனால ஸ்ட்ரைக்லாம் கொடுக்க மாட்டாங்க, காப்பிரைட் தான் கொடுப்பாங்க. ஸ்ட்ரைக் எதுக்கு கொடுப்பானா ஒரு ரூல்ஸ் அண்ட் ரெகுலேஷன் இருக்கு, அது மீறினா தான் ஸ்ட்ரைக் கொடுப்பாங்க.
Play the delivery, not the bowler. Defended by Ishan Kishan.
Discard link.
The crease, it's nicely pushed.
Night bat கொடுக்கலையா என்ன?
Nods his head towards the non-striker Abhishek Sharma. All around this ground, spectators loving what they're seeing. The familiar scenes of the various concession sellers walking around.
மேல அப்படியே தூக்கி பாருங்க bro.
Selling various delights and local delicacies.
இப்ப டைப் பண்ணா கொடுக்குதா என்ன?
I'll get your thoughts in just a moment.
Max key bro and you collab bro. கண்டிப்பா bro நான் போடலாம். என்னன்னா அவருக்கு எனக்கு டைமிங் மிஸ் ஆகுது. அவர் நைட் ஃபுல்லா போடுறாரு. அவர் கூட விளையாண்டுருக்கேன், ஹீரோ ட்ரக் விளையாண்டேன். ஹீரோ ட்ரக் அவர் கூட விளையாண்டேன். அப்போதைக்கு நான் வெப்காம் போடாம போட்டேன்.
At the end of the over, 4 gone, 4
வரல bro, மேல இருக்கு செய்யுங்க.
Is the score. So yeah, what would be the snack of choice in the crowd?
கொடுத்தா வரும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
This part of the world, maybe.
They'll probably prefer the samosas or probably chopped mangoes along with boiled peanuts.
சும்மா டைப் பண்ணி
children as well. That's something that they relish.
Night bat என்ன
That's the reason why a lot of people go to the beach here, the Marina Beach, to eat the chopped mangoes and the peanuts and the coconuts and stuff like that.
அப்ப கொடுக்குது பாருங்க bro, வெறும் டிஸ்கார்ட் மட்டும் டைப் பண்ணா கொடுக்குது bro.
The north of India, it sounds incredibly obvious, but it's a huge country this, with such diverse culture.
Actually
Anything else,
நார்மலா டிஸ்கார்ட் போட்டா மேல வந்திருக்கு bro.
A very different feel from where we were at the weekend in Ahmedabad and where we'll be tomorrow in Kolkata. Here comes Brad Evans, right arm over. This is pulled away out towards the deep. No one's going to get round to take the catch, but it might yet be stopped from beating the boundary rider, and it is a good piece of work from Burl who took the catch. And though the 50 comes up, it isn't a boundary. 51 for 1.
This is exactly what I meant. Ishan Kishan is the kind of player who gives a license to himself as he walks out to bat. And
join பண்ணிட்டேன் சூப்பர் bro, join பண்ணிக்கங்க. லைவ் நோட்டிஃபிகேஷன் வந்துட்டே இருக்கும்.
You need from a top order batter in a T20 format, somebody who needs to play fearless
future updates இதனால டிஸ்கலாம் போடுவோம்.
Yes, mere courage is not going to be a great help.
11க்கு 1 51
Evans bowls, that's drilled away.
நல்ல டைம் பண்ணானா, ஒழுங்கா பண்ணலையா?
For the 1 run, so
அவுட் ஆனா சென்ஸ் நேரா ஃபீல்டர்
கேம் boundaries that kick things off just
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் காப்பிரைட்டா இல்ல bro, காப்பிரைட் நிறைய வந்திருக்கு.
Difference in India's batting today is
காப்பிரைட் வேற
conviction in their
ஸ்ட்ரைக்ங்கிறது வேற. காப்பிரைட் நோ ப்ராப்ளம், அத நம்ம ரிமூவ் பண்ணிக்கலாம், மியூட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். மியூட் பண்ணிட்டோம்னா சரியாயிரும். ஸ்ட்ரைக்ங்கிறது தான் மோசமானது. ஸ்ட்ரைக் ஒரு தடவை கொடுத்துட்டானா அவ்வளவுதான், சேனலே தூக்கிடுவான். 3 தடவை கொடுத்துட்டானா சேனல் முடிஞ்சுச்சு. ஸ்ட்ரைக் எதுக்கு கொடுப்பானா ரூல்ஸ் எல்லாம் வச்சிருப்பான், அந்த இதெல்லாம் போடக்கூடாது, தப்பான இதெல்லாம் போடக்கூடாது, அதெல்லாம் பண்ணோம்னா ஸ்ட்ரைக் கொடுப்பான். இந்த மாதிரி அடுத்தவங்க வீடியோ மியூசிக்லாம் யூஸ் பண்றதுலாம் ஸ்ட்ரைக் கொடுப்பாங்க. காப்பிரைட் தான் 65 அபிஷேக் சர்மா செம்ம ஷாட்.
Over wide, long on. Hands through the ball over the rope. And India move to 58 for 1.
Good skills on display from Abhishek Sharma. He is adjusting the downswing of his bat in relation to the pace of the ball. And that's the reason he's been able to clear the boundary repeatedly, even of deliveries coming at a lesser pace at him. And that's in a batter. If he's got to try and adjust
small team which not all
get his runs.
எனக்கு நிறைய பேர் வந்திருந்தாங்க.
Next delivery is cut away nicely towards backward point, but it'll be fielded by Dion Myers. Every dot ball feels like a win. They'll be desperate to get out of the power play here. And I called that as Kishan having hit the 6.
Control loading. நீங்க அடிச்சே ஆகணும் bro அபிஷேக். ஏன்னா நமக்கு ட்ரெண்ட் அதிகமா வேணும். இவங்க அடிச்சு ஜெயிச்சாதான். ஆனா இவங்களும் அசால்ட்டா நினைக்க கூடாது.
It's a little bit different in the World Cup campaign because you play a different side every match and you're playing in a different venue as well.
The match start பண்றப்ப yesterday New Zealand 170 bro Mitchell
That's against a bilateral series where you
என்னோட லைவ்ல 99% ஸ்ரீலங்கா தான் வின் பண்ணனும் போட்டுருந்தாங்க. அப்படியே குண்டக்க ஆயிடுச்சு.
You got to play a different attack every day you get onto the field.
Get out
of the சீக்கிரமே முடிஞ்சிச்சு. Oh, it's exactly what Stephen
Evans bowling
was saying. We were doing a podcast you can find on BBC Sounds about the experience that's different for a player at a World Cup compared to a bilateral series, because you are sort of learning on the fly a little bit.
Bro, நம்மள மாதிரி ஸ்ரீலங்காவும் நிறைய
quite so straightforward in terms of making your plans. Evans in almost chopping on his Abhishek, gets a little fortunate. He's maybe earned that as he gets a boundary through fine leg.
கம்மியா தான் போகுது.
Inside edge. Past the tall figure of Musrabani. And the over's gone for 14, with still a ball left of it. India's run rate back over 13. And it's 63 for 1.
For a moment, Abhishek Sharma was not sure where the ball was, but he still takes the boundary all the same. Good old Hoik. There was a lot of width on offer. He was trying to drag it from way outside the Austin, but didn't get hold of it. But these days, just a little bit of contact, the ball flies to the boundary.
Here comes Evans, swing and a miss, and keeps it a little bit low actually, well taken by the keeper. And the over comes to an end. It's been frantic, fraught, fantastic from India.
10 crore watching
63 for 5 overs. Abhishek's on 27 for 12. Kishan 4 from 4. The one wicket to a fall in that. The Sanju Samson 24 from 15.
India match
alongside former India opener. And you're going to be joined by a man wearing CSK colours.
நேற்று வந்து மாதிரி ஹை பிளேஸ் வர
India have been really good in the top.
அதான் எனக்கு தெரியல ஐபிஎல் என்ன ஆகும் இதுக்கு நான் போட்டது இல்லை ஐபிஎல் இந்த வாரம் ஐபிஎல் தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் போட போறேன் தெரியல
Abhishek Sharma finding his rhythm.
வாரி சாங்ஸ் ஓடுது வாரி சாங் சவுண்ட் குறைச்சி வச்சிருக்கேன் எனக்கு கிஷான் தலைக்கு மேல ஒரு பவுண்டரி தூக்கி விட்டான்.
That's something that he's done on quite a few occasions, which is what is going to be very disappointing. Kishan has joined Abhishek Sharma.
Kishan
He's on strike now. Full toss and clipped away off his hip. That's 4 runs. It raced away even before I could say 4 runs. Full toss, poor delivery from Richard Ngavra as he came on to start from the pavilion end of the ground, and 4 more runs. India racing away here. WE 67 for 1. But I should first say Vanakkam.
Vanakkam, Prakash. He learned a few words of Tamil having shifted to this neck of the woods.
Well, I am delighted. I'm trying, and I look forward to
increasing interaction and improving
my Tamil. But for the moment, here at the historic Chepauk Stadium, India have got off to the kind of start most of the tournament so far. Here's Ngarawa bowls again. This one's eased away on the offside. Backward point, no run to be fielded by
Tamil commentary
and that's Ryan Burl.
South Africa match da kottu vandinga enna kedukada kottu vandinga CSK nala kottu vandanga
2 counts here. One is that the pitch is really good for batting. It's coming on nicely. Two is that these two boys can practice
sengutha pogudu mela
any line. And the Zimbabwe bowlers
6 ille bro enga bro tadutanga bro 6 illa
looking for some inspiration as Ngarawa comes in, bowls again, and this one's gone up in the air. Has it got the distance? It's gone high into the night sky and just about pulled inside the boundary. It had a lot more height than it had distance, but because this is the last throw of the power play, still limitations on the field, but the bowler will feel a little bit of a moral positive, not necessarily a victory. 2 runs accruing. Kishan looking to really taunt that out, I think towards Salem or Coimbatore or somewhere, but all it did was it went probably as high as the pylons on the roof of the stands.
Sanju on screen.
And Ngarawa is doing a good job here, varying his pace, varying his length as well. The first one he bowled the second at 130, the third one at 134.
இப்பதான் எனக்கு காமிக்கிறான்.
Here he is, tall figure bowled, and this time Ishan
bowling
gets one that he's able to lap around, help along its way. Just as you were saying, he's varying his pace and line well. He erred onto the pads, and all that the diminutive but dynamic figure of Ishan Kishan had to do was roll his wrists and help the ball along its way down towards the back of the square. 73 for 1.
Another 4 runs.
Really slowed it down to 113.
4 runs.
Direction wrong on the occasion. All Ishan Kishan had to do was just give it direction.
Yeah. And as you said,
the fact that batters are now aware, maybe after that rather dismal effort in Ahmedabad, the bat speed and the adjustment, that seemed to be lacking in Ahmedabad. But today both Abhishek and Ishan Kishan, at least so far, look like they're coming to grips with the situation. 73 for 1, 2 balls of the power play to come. Here's Ngarava again, passes the umpire up, bowls left arm over the wicket, clipped away to mid-wicket. This could be runs here, couple possibly. Now they could be satisfied with one. Good effort from the deep, return comes in on the bounce. And 74 for 1 with the last ball of the power play. And Abhishek Sharma on strike now. 27 of 12. He's still not looked his normal dominating self, but boy, compared to what we saw in the first 4 times that he came out, this is significantly better.
Last ball bro, power play la
that made it beautiful.
Samson was playing most of the
straight to the ground, straight to the ground,
regain his composure as well. And he also would have felt that, yeah, I've spent some time here.
Correct. Here's the last ball of the over. He bowls, and this one's been slapped.
Power play mudinchi, but
cross batted over the bowler's head into the pavilion. That's a big 6 from Abhishek in the power play.
4-5 minutes
just to make the point, India getting 80 runs in the power play. By far the best power play of the tournament for them. No question about it. And WE, you must be feeling reasonably pleased.
Of course, because India
Abhishek Sharma comeback loading. Mama bro. T20 World Cup la out ஆயிட்டே இருந்தான், அடிக்கவே இல்லை. தேவையான டைத்துல அடிச்சிருக்கோம்.
Early days, yeah. But still, they would have been looking to put up a healthy score. They were aware of the fact that they also had to keep the net
டாப் ஆர்டர் அடிச்சாலே கீழ இருக்கேன்னா வந்து அடி அடின்னு அடிப்பாங்க.
strong possibility will come down to that.
நல்ல வேளை வெஸ்ட் இண்டீஸ் லாஸ்ட் இல்லனா இந்தியா கஷ்டமா இருக்கும். அத வேற சொன்னீங்க.
They certainly have. And drinks coming on to the field.
மோசமான நிலைமையில தோத்துறாங்க.
Just an opportunity
நல்ல நெட் ரன் அடிவாய்.
Maybe have a quick word, decide what they want to do, a little breather. And same way for the Indian batters, both Abhishek and Ishan together. But let's talk a little bit, since we have a moment or two, about this wonderful ground which you have amazing memories of.
ஈஸி தான். இப்ப நம்ம இவங்க கூட ஓரளவுக்கு நல்லதா ஜெயிக்கணும். அப்புறம் வெஸ்ட் இண்டீஸ் கூட நல்லதா ஜெயிக்கணும். அப்புறம் வெஸ்ட் இண்டீஸ் கூட ஜெயிக்கலனாலும் நெட் ரேட் அதிகமா இருக்கணும் வெஸ்ட் இண்டீஸ் கூட.
Test match.
அவ்வளவுதான்.
The new stands, of course, have added to the glory. But tell us your earliest memory, WV, of coming to this hallowed ground and playing cricket.
It was interesting.
அதனால இன்னைக்கு கொஞ்சம் தோத்தனால நம்மளுக்கு ஒரு 2 வழி கிடைச்சிருக்கு. ஒன்னு வெஸ்ட் இண்டீஸ் கூட ஜெயிக்கணும். அப்படி இல்லனா இவங்களோட ஜிம்பாப்வே கூட அதிக நெட் ரன்களோட ஜெயிக்கணும். இல்லனா ரெண்டு பேர் கூடயும் ஜெயிக்கணும். நெட் ரன் ரேட் தேவையே கிடையாது. மூணு ஆப்ஷன் இருக்கு.
Once the stadium came in, they had to obviously ensure that not everybody got into the stadium. There are a lot of controls put in place, and until the mid-80s,
English commentary போயிலடா ரைட்.
Walk into this ground to practice.
ஹாட்ஸ்டார்ல விளம்பரம் வரல, உங்களுக்கு வருதா என்ன ப்ரோ?
ரைட்.
Otherwise you
ட்ரிங்க்ஸ் பிரேக் அப்படியே காமிச்சிட்டு இருக்காங்க ஹாட்ஸ்டார்ல. லேப்டாப்ல பார்க்கறனால என்னன்னு தெரியல, விளம்பரம் வரல. Sanju in real in game. Abhishek comeback.
And then a lot of teams quite
ஆடா வருதா? எனக்கு வரலையே ப்ரோ. பேசிட்டே இருக்காங்க. இங்கிலீஷ் கமெண்ட்ரி பார்க்கறீங்களா? ஓ, நான் தமிழ் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கேன். கமெண்ட்ரி பார்க்கல, வீடியோ மட்டும் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கேன். கமெண்ட்ரி கேட்டா காப்பிரைட் வந்துரும்.
And then you have a different stadium here now. And this will provide a lot of respite for the cricketers, I assure you, because between lunch and tea,
சம்பேல சவாடி இது இந்த பாட்டா அஜித் பாட்டா விடாமுயற்சி சாங் கேக்குது லைட்டா கேக்குது. நான் ஃபுல்லா குறைச்சு வச்சிட்டேன் ப்ரோ, தலை வலிக்குது.
And we were lucky to see a lot of great performances being put up by greats in the game at this particular venue. And
இருக்கிற எல்லா தமிழ் பாட்டும் போடுவாங்க ப்ரோ. சென்னை crowd
தான was called out, the Chennai crowd as it is called.
ட்ரெண்டான எல்லா சாங் பிட்ஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் போட்டு கலந்து அடிச்சு போடுவாங்க.
Numbers regardless of who are playing here.
அனிருத் இன்னைக்கு கான்செப்ட் நம்மளுக்கு காமிக்கலன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அனிருத் கான்செப்ட் டச் நினைக்கிறேன். நம்மளுக்கு காமிச்சாங்க, நான் பார்க்கல. லேட்டா தான் ஆரம்பிச்சேன்.
Absolutely. I mean, amongst the more knowledgeable, among the more fair
ஸ்ரீலங்கால இருந்து
Chennai crowd, Madras crowd in the days gone by, and of course the Calcutta crowd.
நம்மளுக்கு காமிக்கலன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் ப்ரோ. ஒன்லி அங்க இருக்க ஸ்டேடியத்துல
those probably are the 3 venues that brings her off the field. And now the Zimbabwean skipper Sikandar Raza has decided that he's going to take things and matters in his own hand. Give you the field He's going to bowl, of course, to Ishan Kishan, who is batting on 15. And he's got 1, 2, 3 men in the ring on the offside. The almost mandatory fielder at 45. Here's the first ball. Goes in bowls, and Kishan is beaten outside the off stump straight away. Was there some turn with that? Just go through with the arm around the wicket, mind you. Ishan has had his problems against off spin during the tournament.
South Africa.
A fair bit of talk about that as well. Deep fielders there, a deep backward square, a deep wicket, just in front of it, straightish long on and long off. Going along with the deep cover here. This time it's punted up the ground. Evans will come in and do the fielding. There will be a single to be had. It's 18-1 for 1.
Good start from the skipper. He's wearing his length. He's shown that he's going to keep wearing his length here. Very interesting matchup against Abhishek Sharma because he likes to play shots down the ground. And if he tosses it up or if he bowls it in the slot, Abhishek Sharma
410 reached.
Yes, Raza again.
408 னா காமிக்குது. ஒரு ரெஃப்ரெஷ் பண்ணனும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
Abhishek Sharma, good ball.
லேப்டாப் கொதிக்குது.
Sikandar Raza, of course, born in Sialkot in what is now Pakistan, moved to Zimbabwe around the age of 22, having
உங்களோட டாப் 4 சொல்லுங்க bro.
What he may have otherwise wanted. Telling more about that as here's Raza bowls, and this one's been cracked away of the back foot down towards the deep cover area. He only get a single, but the sound coming off the bat suggests he timed it well.
Yeah, he's been batting really well.
எப்படி இந்தியா மேல வந்துரும் நம்பிக்கையில சொல்லிட்டேன் இந்தியா.
Earlier, which means that he's looking to play down the ground, not taking too many unnecessary risks. But India needs to improve its run rate against the spinners.
Here's Raza again, bowls flatter, quicker. This one's worked away on the onside, but they'll take one. It'll take the total up to 83 now. The last ball of the 7th over coming in. Raza, of course, bowls with a slightly peculiar bowling action. Keeps his right hand, the bowling arm, behind his back, a little bit like what you expect from Sunil Narayan. Though he does bowl a mystery ball as well. It's a regular, of course, with the off spinner. This one's worked away off his toes. Again, another single. Not bad from India. They've been guilty earlier of going after the bowler when he comes on to bowl and throwing the wickets away. And that has not been the case today. As 84-1, we will soon be joined by former Zimbabwe skipper Tatenda Taibu, and we will soon get his thoughts as well on how he sees the game going. It's a very good evening from here in Chennai to you, Tatenda. I hope it's not too cold out there.
It is cold indeed. It was actually raining. It's a little bit horrible when it's raining.
எனக்கு ஏதோ நீங்க போய் சொல்ற மாதிரி தோணுது.
I'm sure you would. Who wouldn't actually? Who wouldn't? Double bowling change as you'd expect from the pavilion end.
Yeah, that's super.
We're going to see Bennett now. Brian Bennett will bowl to Abhishek Sharma on 35.
Bro,
here's the first ball. In he comes, bowls, flatter, quicker, is slapped away, flat back.
Bro, Anirudh irukkan bro stadiumல.
Doesn't quite get hold of it, and well short of the man coming in from long off for a single. 85 for 1.
நேரா போயிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
What do you make of it so far?
Brian Bennett hasn't bowled much, and
stadiumல உட்கார்ந்து பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கான் Anirudh.
The tactic did not work. The ball a little bit short. Or short of a length, and that hasn't really worked well.
86 for 1.
Again, a little bit short, pulled away towards deep mid wicket area. There is protection on that fence, so just a single. So runs coming in ones at the moment since the introduction of spin. Raza with the first over and Bennett with the second one. The Zimbabwean seamers were taken for a fair few.
World Cup anthem Anirudh
when you come up against someone who's on a rampage, and particularly on a pitch that's not offering you much. Here's Bennett again, 2 or 3 steps to the crease bowls, and cracked away through the offside for another run. Tatenda, you've been pleased, no doubt, with the progress of your countrymen in this tournament.
Oh, they were brilliant, obviously, in the first round. You know, winning everything and then going in to lose against West Indies.
என்ன bro நீங்க ரொம்ப பொறுமையா விளையாடுற மாதிரி இருக்கு. பாத்திட்டாங்களோ?
I think they're happy.
RJ Balaji's commentary இல்ல இப்ப நான் பார்க்கறப்ப Fab du Plessis தான bro இருக்கான்.
Indeed they have, well deserved. This one's been pulled around the corner again to the fielder on the deep backward square boundary, just a single. So doing well here for the moment, just stemming that flow of runs, or the flood of runs through the introduction of
இன்னைக்கு அபினவ் முகுந்த் வரல bro இங்கிலீஷ்ல வேற ஃபீமேல்
momentarily
மயந்தி லாங்கர் வரவா bro
is Bennett again, tall figure bowls
Tamil commentary la vandirukara
Abhishek is content to just push it up the ground for another single.
Break utrupa enakku daily avare pandradala
edaila break to 89 now, 89 for 1.
Yeah, it's
this Zimbabwe team.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead please.
A lot
illana rendu team vechirpaanga avanga eda periya match ku innoru team vechirpaanga chinna match ku innoru team vechirpaanga andha mari pannuvaanga Star Sports andha mari dhaan pannuvaanga.
Well, I guess in a tournament like this, everyone's got to play their role. Sometimes the skipper will call on you to do things which you may not regularly be doing. But that's what tournament cricket is all about. This one's just coming in with the arm on the onside for a single by Nishan. That will mark the end of the over. 6 singles off it. India 90 for 1 at the end of 8 overs. So Tatinda, here's a memory that you will have no recollection of, but I do. I think it was 2004 in Australia, the Triangular Series, when you were leading the side, and I remember sitting at the ground and doing an interview with you. I must confess, you look almost as fit as you did then.
I've heard a lot of people say that. I think the most fascinating thing, today is when I'm working with my two sons. I've got a 20-year-old and a 15-year-old. And people say, oh, you brothers, you get along so nicely. And I'm always pleased to hear that.
Raza comes in and bowls, and Ishan Kishan comes down the wicket, and he then takes his bottom hand off, and he gets enough on it, wide of long on, just beating the charging figure of Musikewa on that boundary line to get 4 more runs. I thought Raza did him a little bit in the air, but he carried on, and nowadays, of course, these batters practice so much with the bottom hand coming off. He was able to find the gap for 4 runs. Here's Raza again, in bowls, and this time he pulls back and flat bats it down towards long on, right in front of us, a single, 95 for 1.
They've refused for the spinners to keep bowling at them. They want to keep detecting the flow of the match.
Again, 2 steps and then comes in bowls. And Abhishek plays it straight down the field. Will he beat the fielder there? Oh, what an effort! Outstanding bit of fielding there at that long off boundary. Draws a huge round of applause. That's Evans there, saving not just a certain boundary, but the manner in which he saved it. Absolutely stunning as he saves 3 runs for his side. What a beautiful bit of fielding. Dived away. That was headed only one way till the tall figure came in and tossed it back. That's the kind of effort that spurs the bowling. Slower ball, intelligently bowled by Raza, defended on the offside. 97 for 1 in the 9th. What an effort that was.
Beautiful bowling as well as the fielding. The fielding has always been something that the Zimbabweans have done well over the past few years, and that should continue.
Raza bowls, and this one's cut on the offside, a bit of a fumble there. That point will allow a single to be taken. 98 for 1 now. 1 ball of the 9th to come.
I'll go back to the game against West Indies. Those 2 catches have been taken. That would have been a different story.
Vivek, 0 Bahu shots, Rahul gamer எனக்கு தெரியும் bro, சூப்பரா பண்ணுவாரு அவரு.
Raza bowls, Abhishek comes down the wicket, Ishan rather just pushes it up the ground to Evans where he completes the fielding, and that will be 9 overs bowled. India going along at even 11 runs and over, 99 for 1 at the moment. What would you be telling Sikandar if he called you right now?
Subscribe பண்ணிருக்கேன் நான்.
Tatinda?
Well, I think the spinners have done well to pull it back. They were going at 13 plus in the first 6 overs, and the spinners have kind of controlled it. However, he needs to go to his wicket-taking bowlers. They need wickets. The only way you stop batters from scoring freely is when you've got a new batter on the crease and you put the squeeze on him.
Catch
right, so for the moment he's of course going to continue with Brian Bennett, who's in for a second over. Tossed up and he placed the reverse swing in the air. He could be out and he's been dropped. Oh dear.
Assaulta catch over.
Oh dear.
100 game for India.
There for the taking. He lined himself up. Did Musikewa there, and then just as he was down there taking it low by his boots, it slipped out of his hand, and that's the kind of chance you do not offer batters of this caliber. I can see the disappointment on your face.
That's catch number 3 that he's had in 2 matches. It was quite a surprise for him to be selected.
And just the kind of answer you don't want, lofted over long on.
Abhishek 50 வந்தானா 6 அடிச்சு இன்னும் எவ்வளவு ரன் அடிக்கணும் 50 அடிக்க
How demoralizing can it be? And it's funny, this game, isn't it? Spirited fielding lifts the bowling, and a drop like that just deflates you.
Oh, drops like this are criminal.
47 bro.
Oh dear,
48.
I wonder what's
My
going on in
laptop
his
brand
mind.
Dell.
106 for one.
Mortal
Catches
laptop
win
also
matches. Is a age that's never
Laptop
changed
with
over the
the
years.
best.
This one again just lofted softly, punted up the ground, more than a chip really. And a single 107 for one.
Bro,
We're in
India
the 10th
win.
over here,
Aguma,
under
you are
lights at the
confident.
magnificent looking
கண்டிப்பா
Chidambaram Stadium, the MA Chidambaram Stadium.
கான்ஃபிடன்ட் இருக்கு.
Chepauk being
நான் வந்து அன்னைக்கு
the
சவுத்
area,
ஆப்பிரிக்கா
the
மேட்ச்
locality
இந்தியா
in
வின்
which the
பண்ணனும்னு
stadium is located, and for years it was just called Chepauk. Before, of course, it's now
ஹர்திக்
got
பாண்டியா
a full
இருக்கிற வரைக்கும்
stadium.
வின் ஆகும் நினைச்சிட்டு இருந்தேன்.
Once again, Abhishek down the wicket,
போட்டு
whips it
தடவ
away, just filling in the
ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க.
gap on the onside. They'll take one and will be content with it as the return comes in on the bounce at the bowler's end. 108 now for one. 2 balls of the 10th to come. Katinda Taibu, former Zimbabwe skipper, with us.
Zimbabwe எல்லாரும் பிரஷர் ஆயிட்டாங்க. ஃபீல்டர்ஸ் எல்லாமே பிரஷர் ஆயிட்டாங்க. கான்ஃபிடென்ட்டா இருங்க சார், நல்லதே நடக்கும். வெற்றி நிச்சயம் bro. வெற்றி நிச்சயம்.
Such a destructive batter. We cannot let him loose.
Indeed.
எல்லா இதுலயும் அதே டயலாக்
Abhishek,
போட்டுறாங்க.
he is getting an inside edge onto his pad. It trickles away behind to short fine where Mazurabani feels, but you need that bit of luck. Slowed down by Bennett. Intelligent bowling. The change of pace has often caused problems for batters, and Indian batters in particular.
Like Stalin
trying almost breaking through there,
like
but
female Vijay
not quite. Last ball of the over, and Ishan
Gamers
Kishan is looking for a run which doesn't exist. Raza charging in, make sure there's no run. End of the over, 10 coming off it. 109 for one here, and Zimbabwe have some thinking to do. India going along just a shade below 11. And with Katinda Taibu alongside us,
சில பேர் நல்லா இருக்க படத்தையும் நல்லா இல்லைன்பாங்க. அந்த மாதிரிலாம் நான் சொல்ல மாட்டேன். எல்லா படமும் பார்த்துட்டு என்னென்ன குறை இருக்கு மட்டும் தான் சொல்லணும் தவிர ஏதோ ஒன்று நல்லா இல்லைன்னா படமே நல்லா இல்லைன்னு சொல்ல மாட்டாங்க. 9th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் சூப்பர். நெக்ஸ்ட் இயர் 10th ஸ்பெஷல் கிளாஸ்லாம் வைப்பாங்களே, போறீங்களா ஸ்பெஷல் கிளாஸ்லாம்? டெய்லி லைவ் பார்க்க வர்றீங்க, ஸ்பெஷல் கிளாஸ்லாம் இல்லையா ப்ரோ உங்களுக்கு?
Whenever those chances come.
Stalin actor bro.
How many would be too many? Do you feel halfway through 109 for one feels ominous?
Anything over 200 is too much for Zimbabwe.
Here's Raza.
எனக்கு தெரியாதே bro, என்ன bro எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சு வச்சிருக்கீங்க.
Out towards the deep.
50 Abhishek Sharma.
Kishan will trot through and
Next
as he
year
does so he
la
applauds
special
the
class
efforts of his teammate Abhishek Sharma.
நான் ஸ்கூல் படிக்கிறப்பல 9th syllabus நடத்த மாட்டாங்க. 10th syllabus தான் நடத்துவாங்க.
Because he's played so well.
9th ல இருந்தே ஸ்டார்ட்
to
பண்ணிடுவாங்க.
start the tournament. They kept the faith though, India, and he's repaying them in kind. 50 off 26.
Half the job done. He will be
Ishan
looking
Kishan அவனுக்கு ஒரு அடி.
Zimbabwe will be looking to make sure that he doesn't continue on this road.
Round the wicket comes Raza, galloping in now. Smack back past him, down the ground, fielder running round, can't stop it. 4 more.
It's a lovely cricket shot. If you can hit them powerfully straight and like that, you don't need to play any other dinky shots, the sweeps and reverse. Just hit them down the ground because there's never fielders behind the bowler.
தெரியுது CM என்ன பண்றாருன்னு, ஆனா சில பேருக்கு தெரியும்.
I think the only example I've ever seen that is when Karthix was on strike. He used to have occasionally when he was at Mumbai Indians, you would occasionally have that fielder very straight.
தெரியுமா ஹாஸ்பிடல்ல நடிப்பு அரக்கன் பண்ணாரு. படுத்து சொன்ன கண்டிஷனை ஃபாலோ
over the bowler's head, over the fielders in the deep.
தெரியும்.
And the crowd again leap
அத
up.
சொல்றீங்களா நடிப்புன்னு?
The most remarkable party this, it really is. 120 for one. Sorry to tell them.
Yeah, the worry for me is if someone mishits a ball like that and it goes
அவர் ஆல் வெளிய வர மாட்டேங்கிறாரு அவர் சொன்னவர்.
And what if they really nail it?
Out bro.
Because that's a little, you see the back twist in his hand.
சிக்கந்தர் ராஜா கேப்டனே விக்கெட் எடுத்து கொடுத்துட்டாங்க.
Next delivery outside the off stump in the air, should be taken and is. A big roar of delight from Sikandar Raza. It went gently bouncing into the hands of Garava at short third.
Ishan
Kishan goes 38 for 24. A much needed breakthrough for Zimbabwe. 120 for 2.
Opening வந்து இப்படிதான் ஆடணும். வந்து எல்லா பாலும்
பார்த்துக்கலாம். The wicket slows things down slightly and Sikandar is delighted to take that wicket, and hopefully Zimbabwe will be able to make sure that they really put the brakes on so that India doesn't get more than 200. And because given the way Zimbabwe has been batting, they've gone back to the traditional way of playing T20. A lot of the teams used to do that, where one player plays the anchor role, and in this case it has been Brian Burnett who's been batting through. He hasn't really been looking for expensive shot, but calculated risks, and then you have everyone batting around him. But that tactic doesn't allow you to chase scores over 200. That's why when West Indies scored more than 200, it became difficult because it forced Brian Burnett to play a role that he's not playing throughout the
that's the thing, isn't it? If you get to the halfway stage and something requires a real change of approach, that can be difficult if things start going wrong quickly. Suryakumar Yadav comes to the middle. And again, they just keep on coming. The right-hander, a brilliant player, Suryakumar,
India
the
match
captain.
Sanju support in IPL not support right.
Sikandar Raza, who has this habit of hiding the
பாப்போம்
ball.
IPL எப்படி போகுதுன்னு பாப்போம். நான் வந்து CSK fan bro.
2 balls left of this 11th over. Raza
பாப்போம் உங்களுக்கும் எங்களுக்கும் தான் போட்டியே.
In now, a sweep attempted. Oh, beautifully played. Immediately up into his work is Suryakumar. It's 4 runs. That's lovely batting. A huge stride forward.
Hey,
and getting that sweep almost on the full, 124 for 2.
It just shows a lot of confidence in the way that he's been playing. I think he's got lots of runs behind him, and he's confident to just go straight away and play a sweep shot to an attempted carambol.
அடிச்சு ரொம்ப நாள் ஆச்சு 50 அடிச்சு 50 இந்த இதுல அடிச்சானா நான் ஒரு மேட்ச்ல அடிச்ச மாதிரி நான் ஒரு 30 அடிச்சான்னு நினைக்கிறேன் ஒரு மேட்ச்ல
behind square.
ரெண்டு பேர் தான் போட்டி ஒன்னு மேக்ஸ் கி இன்னொரு
The momentum has just kept on going from this India
மேக்ஸ்
side.
கிக்கு அவருக்கு எனக்கு bro
No let up for Zimbabwe. Raza in.
அவர் நல்லா பண்றாரு bro. அவர் நிறைய இது வாங்கி வச்சு போட்டுறாரு. அவர் நல்லா இருக்கு. ஸ்டீரிங் வீல் வச்சு போட்டுறாரு. சப்போர்ட் பண்றாரு.
The over goes for 16.
ஸ்டீரிங் வீல் வச்சு போட்டாலே செமையா
At the moment, the projected score 200 is going to be very easily achievable. 227 at the current rate.
அவர் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிட்டாரா bro live அவர் 8 மணிக்கு தான் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுவார்.
You could be looking closer to 250, which would be a massive total.
Indeed, and Zimbabwe has got to be cracking their heads to try and find ways to stop that from happening. And one way of doing that is making sure that you keep everyone upbeat in the field. Stop all the singles that you can, stop the catches that you can take, and then try and dive around to stop those boundaries.
Yeah, it's not easy. You have to make sure you
make
the absolute most of every single opportunity.
bro 100 பேர் பார்த்துட்டே இருந்தாங்க அதனால கட் பண்ணல. இன்னைக்கு ஒரு 20 பேர் தான் பார்க்கறாங்க. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இன்னிங்ஸோட முடிச்சுக்கலாம்.
A very punishing group, but one so far for them in the Super 8. 125 for 2. Brad Evans
அப்படியே ஓடும் கொஞ்ச நேரம் ஓடும் முடிச்சு நான் போனதுக்கு அப்புறம் சாப்பிட்டு வர வரையும் ஓடி அப்படியே ஓட விட்டு போயிடும்.
125 for 2. Evans at the end of his
பார்க்கறவங்க அப்படி கமெண்ட்ரி கேட்டுட்டு பார்த்துட்டு இருப்பாங்க. நான் மட்டும் போயிடுவேன்.
Under the floodlights. It's nicely pushed up the ground from Suryakumar.
Right தான் புட்டிங் ஃபோர்ஸ் வாரிஸ் என்கிட்ட இருக்கு ஃபோர்ஸ் வாரிஸ் என்னை கூப்பிட்டாரு.
One has to keep going.
நான் தான் போல என்கிட்ட வீல் இல்லையா இந்த கண்ட்ரோலர் வேற ஒழுங்கா ஒர்க் ஆக மாட்டேங்குது அதனால கடுப்பா இருக்கு அதனால போகும் கண்டிப்பா அவரால் அவரோட போகும். ஃபோர்ஸா இருக்கு அவர் கூட போகலாம் நான் ஹீரோ ட்ரக் போகலாம்.
There will be lots of discussions in between.
126 for 2. See Hardik Pandya, who cuts quite a familiar figure at the far end of the ground. So you can see his bleach blonde hair stretching, getting ready. Swing and a miss. It's well bowled by Brad Evans. Massive swing from
Surya and Abhishek batting.
Evans, regardless of what happens here, Contender, this has been
Abhishek ஒரு காட்டு சுத்தி சுத்தணும் பேட் வெளியே பேட்ல படாம பால் கீழ
Not only Zimbabwe, yes you are definitely right. Zimbabweans will be happy that they've had performances that they've had. The crowds, the public.
இந்த மேட்ச்ல அவுட் ஆயிட்டே இருக்காங்க.
We're really happy because I was in Zimbabwe a week ago, but
in comes Evans, angled past the fielder at short third, but there is a man backing up down there behind him, and so one taken.
Yeah, and all the associate members, all the associate teams have been playing real good cricket, and that
bro நானி மாதிரி ஹேர் இங்க மாசா இருக்கும் டான்ஸ் ஸ்டெப்ஸ் ஸ்டைலிங்
which has really
நானி மாதிரி bro இவ்வளவு தூரத்துக்கு வச்சிருக்காங்க bro இதுக்கே எங்க வீட்ல எவ்வளவு திட்டு திட்டுறாங்க தெரியுமா?
Yeah.
எப்படி நான் கொஞ்ச நாள்ல வெட்டிடுவோம் bro. கூப்பிட்ட உடனே நான் வெட்டிடுவேன். கவலைப்படாதீங்க. இப்படியோடலாம் ஆஃபீஸுக்கு போனோம்னா யார் இது யாரும் சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிட்டு Gangadhara Rajan just subscribed. Hi bro, welcome. Thanks for the sub.
Collected before it reaches the boundary by Shinga.
Thank you for the sub.
129 for 2. 4 off the over.
Nani summa that Sarah அது ரியலா அதான் ப்ரோ எனக்கு தெரியல அவ்வளவு தூரத்துக்கு எப்படி வளர்த்தாங்கன்னு தெரியல ப்ரோ எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு ரியலா இருக்காதுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் கொஞ்சம் லெங்த் வளர்த்துருப்பாங்க அதுக்கப்புறம் கீழே இருக்கிறதெல்லாம் that cat mass the cat mass BGM வந்து கேமோட BGM
next delivery is whipped away in the air down towards the field
மாத்தலாமா வேற ஏதாவது மீன் மாதிரி ஏதாவது வச்சலாம் பிளான் யோசிச்சுட்டு இருந்தேன் வேர்க்கடோண்டு அப்படியே இருக்கு அந்த கேட்
flicked it round the corner and you've got your hands on your head
catch drop-ஆ ஆமா bro Surya 4 catch drop
dropping catches like this you cannot do that the bowlers have worked so hard to create that chance you have to help them out you've got to take those catches
full pressure is Zimbabwe
oh dear blessing Zarabani.
Does it count as a drop if you don't get your hands on it?
33 for $2.
How he's missed it. Evans is in, nudged away down the ground for one more. What should have been a wicket taking over ends up on that goes for 9. India 134 for 2 after 12 overs. And oh dear.
You give any decent batter just only one chance. That's
Suryakumar
problem for the team and oh dear 2 catches there were 2 drop catches against West Indies there's 2 drop catches
Suryakumar dana boundary adichana last ball
there's still plenty of overs to go well
Maposa
it's quite unfortunate
Maposa
overs second to go and a long way you don't want fielders not wanting the ball to come to them because once you start dropping catches like that there is a tendency you don't want the ball to come to you.
Well, that's the problem. From my point of view, I think in this scenario, you want to hand the ball to the bowler, give a chance to influence the game. But that would be departing from plans. You said they're going back to Maposa, who went for 23 from his over earlier on today. So he'll be hoping for a little better than that, as we see.
Ground la DJ Mass பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு
ஒரு surprise selection for me.
Chepauk Mass டிக்கெட்ல Chepauk லெவல்ல 1000 ரூபாய் நினைக்கிறேன் மேல இருக்க சீட்ஸ்லாம் 1000 ரூபாய் நினைக்கிறேன் கீழ பிரீமியம் சீட்ஸ்லாம் அவ்வளவு தரல ஒரு தடவை பார்த்தேன்
a little bit of a delay out there in the middle there's a gentleman in a blue jersey who's come off the field because a little bit of the tech around it I'll tell you
நூதன பான்னா காப்பிரைட் போட்டுருவாங்க நினைக்கிறேன்
I've got reliability issues like a sort of
ரொம்ப நல்லா கேக்குதா ஆனா காப்பிரைட் போட மாட்டறாங்க என்னன்னு தெரியல
Italian sports car they look great when they work
சைடுல அவங்க பேசுறனால அது அப்படி இதா இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்
134
அதனால யூடியூப்னால கண்டுபிடிக்க முடியல
as we see finally things working once more
ana English commentary brain
drops
என்னடா சாங் இது
Suryakumar Yadav put down
அவரோட மூளை அப்படி தான்
Kishan has now departed for 38 off 24 Suryakumar can do some serious damage we've seen that enough times so Maposa
அவங்களுக்கும் வயசானவங்களுக்குலாம் டிஃபரண்ட் டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் சாங்ஸ் கேட்பாங்க நம்மள மாதிரி எங்க இருக்க ஃபாரினர்ஸ்லாம் டிஃபரண்ட் டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் சாங்ஸ் கேட்பாங்க அதுலயும் டிஃபரன்ஸ் தினேஷ் கார்த்திக் கமெண்ட்ரி ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர்
beautifully over the infield and down to the boundary for 4 it's a lovely shot and it goes racing away for a boundary 138 for 2 is the score in the 30
Yeah, that becomes quite difficult
Dinesh Karthik in the commentary
now the skipper has had to go back to his seam bowlers and he's bowling without a third man he's bowled short outside off stump
Abhishek பையலடா Abhishek 50 அடிச்சிட்டு கொஞ்சம் அமைதியா இருக்காரு நீ ஆட்டத்தை ஆரம்ப ஓ 6 ப்ரோ சூர்யா தூக்கி விட்டான் ப்ரோ சூர்யா ஃபயர் சூர்யா பேக் இன்னைக்கு சம்பவம் இருக்கா
Here comes Maposa again, pressure on the bowler. Oh, hit down the ground mightily. It's gone a long way.
எவ்வளவு ப்ரோ டார்கெட் இருக்கும் சொல்லுங்க ப்ரோ prediction சொல்லுங்க ப்ரோ டார்கெட் எனக்கு எவ்வளவு போகும்னே தெரியல ப்ரோ மடிக்கிறது பார்த்தா
how well did he hit that how well
sound off the bat
just had some lovely bats and not only bats that's a beautiful cricket shot splendid to watch
Original arch champion, only one Surya.
Tried to roll his fingers down the side of it. Suryakumar knew as soon as it hit it. It went flying, absolutely flying.
It's a lovely extension of the arms as he
20 over அப்புறம் எண்டா bro. பாப்போம் bro. இங்க எவ்வளவு views வருதுங்கற பொறுத்து தான்.
It was some shot.
Views means கான்கரண்டா பார்த்துட்டு இருக்காங்களா அத பொறுத்து. இப்போதைக்கு 15 பேர் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்காங்க.
Once again, Maposa
ஒரு 10 5 கீழ குறஞ்சிருச்சுனா ஆஃப்
is whipping the ball towards short fine leg. Keeper dives to his left to pick up ahead of the field.
பார்த்தா ஆஃப் பண்ணலாம் பார்க்கறேன். 150 பேர் பார்த்துட்டாங்க. அதனால ஆஃப் பண்ணலாம் அப்படியே போட்டு
cricket, which is
நல்லா ஏறிச்சு நேத்து சப் எல்லாம் ஏறிச்சு.
Happy milestone, it has to be said.
Yeah, and he's going like a train at the moment. Only 9 balls that he's faced, and he's on 24 already. And he is hitting the ball so nicely, and Zimbabwe would love to see the back of him as quickly as possible.
Strike. Light up
put down that chance. Maposa straight will be bowling and Abhishek is 51 off 28.
Abhishek for அடுத்த தூபே பாருங்க ரெடியா பண்றான்.
Pace taken off it, slapped down the ground. It's going to be 4.
யார் அனுப்புனா நான் அடிச்சுதான்.
Ball can't get there.
விக்கெட் நிறைய இருக்கு.
And the relentless assault from this wonderful left-hander continues. 149 for 2. We're only in the 13th over.
I thought one of them was going to play a bit of an anchor role as one has a go, but they've just thought, well, we've only lost 2 wickets, and why not? Let's just both go for it. We still have plenty of batting to come.
Watch party mari
and they've just continued with this onslaught.
It's been relentless. It really has.
எது ப்ரோ சொல்றீங்க?
No answer so far, Zimbabwe. What opportunities have been created have not been taken.
எதை சொல்றீங்க? இந்த கமெண்ட்ரி சொல்றீங்களா?
150 comes up. 2 balls left to the 13th over.
என்ன கொசகொசன்னு
It's been pretty brutal to tender, it has to be said.
Ooh, it has been. It was still 7.2 overs to go.
Watch long mari bro. Okay.
And worse off, it's just 2 wickets with a lot of batting to come.
அவனோட மைக் ப்ராப்ளம்
they contain this.
I would not like to be in the captain's mind right now. He will be thinking of different ideas, and I wonder what he will be thinking, because he's just gone back to the seamers from the spinners.
Maposa get Maposa
hit down the ground. This could be a chance, you know. Fielder running in should take it. It's the captain, and he does.
பாருங்க சென்னை கிரவுண்ட்ல வந்திருக்காங்க Zimbabwe.
The safe hands of Sikandar Raza dashing towards the ball, and he takes a catch that was much needed. 150 for 3. A ball left of the 13th over, and Abhishek's fine knock comes to an end. 55 from 30.
Much needed wicket. They needed to see the back of Abhishek.
ஆமா 100 அடிப்பேன். அப்பவே கொஞ்சம் ஸ்லோ டவுன் ஆயிட்டான் bro. 50 அடிச்சோனே அப்படியே நின்னுட்டான். ஸ்ட்ரைக்கும் வராம.
would be relieved to see the back of Abhishek.
பரவாயில்லை 12 ஓவர்
maybe Sikandar didn't actually say anything and just wanted to slow things down, and sometimes it works just to slow things down, because the momentum is very 300 க்கு அதிசயம் இருக்கா நடக்குமா? You can't disrupt the momentum.
300 னா அடி அடிக்கணும், ஆரம்பத்துல இருந்து அடிக்கணும்.
What he just wanted, just a little bit of a delay, just calm down, recollect your thoughts, remember the plans that we've had, and just remember, you just want to execute your plans. Think clearly, and it has worked.
Well, it was a case of keeping a nerve there for the bowler, because he had to make sure that he kept to his plans. The wicket has fallen.
Pandyan strike.
But they do keep on coming, and I mentioned him. Hardik Pandya comes to the middle.
Assault அப்படியே முத பாலே தூக்கி விடுவார்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
A real stream of talent in this India batting lineup.
He comes into the crease to join Sky, and the unfortunate thing for Zimbabwe is he's got a lot of balls to play himself in a bit.
Single எடுத்துட்டான்.
Indeed.
இல்ல single எடுக்க மாட்டாரே அட்டிக் பண்ணியா, வந்த பாலே சுத்துவாரு.
Next delivery. Sees Maposa bowling to Hardik Pandya, happy to get off the mark with a dab to the offside, one taken.
Over முடிச்சு. விளம்பரம் போட்டாங்க.
151 for 3. So, 13 overs gone. What's the conversation taking place out there in the middle of the tender? What are they trying to do to come up with a way of stemming the flow of runs?
They have to think of ways where there's going to be seamers or spinners. The main problem right now is they've got a left-hand, right-hand combination. And no, they've now got they've now got two right-handers, and this might be the time to bring Ryan Bell because they don't have Graham Creamer. So if Graham Creamer was there, he would have been the perfect person to be bowling. I should not be talking down Ryan Bell because he does do a job. He's got a knack of getting wickets with his first over. Let's see if he continues like that in this game.
Bell into the offside. It's a dot ball. Hardik menacing presence, tall, slim, but so powerful.
Ryan Bell. I solely mood la 2 6 Hardik Pandya potta over 6.
Hoping he does that.
What can he do? Bell in the red boots. Oh, it's a big hit down the ground. It's going to be 6. That's the power of Hardik Pandya. Delirium all around this venue because their superstar batter coming in at number 5 has unleashed something violent over long on. Goodness me, that's a hit.
He's had two knocks down the ground, and that's enough. He's knocked the ball in. Now it's time to go for the big ones, and he's just nailed that nicely. Lovely cricket shot.
But it is if you're an India fan, less so if you're in the colours of Zimbabwe. 157 for 3. Goes hard again, this time along the floor towards extra cover. Well fielded by Maposa. Let's get down quickly, it's a dot ball.
That's what's needed on the field. A lot of support. Diving around, stop whatever you can. Get a run out chance here.
Just anything at this point.
Anything but boundaries.
Well, yes,
straight to the fielder, single.
So I've got a lot to be able to do now.
Delivery coming in now under the floodlights of Chennai. It's a little bit quicker and slapped with a cross-batted heave down the ground towards wide off for a 6. 158 for 3. Still this relentless assault. This aggressive statement innings continues from India.
Attempted googly by Ryan Bell. He's just not been confident enough to throw it up, so it doesn't really become effective because when it's short, because the batter has got enough time to adjust.
Surya, straight to the fielder. Right to Hardik Pandya 6 over para.
Just 7 from the over so far.
Surya drops
it too short, and that's going to be eased away out.
Surya ni adikka maattarnu nenikiren bro. Full 20 overme ada paapaan Surya. அடுத்து வர பேட்ஸ்மேன் தான் அடிக்க பார்ப்பாங்க. ஏன்னா ஒரு
8 from the over represents a pretty good effort actually.
Plenty of balls that have been going over the bowler's head for 6s.
ஒரு ஃபார்ம்ல இருக்க பேட்ஸ்மேன் அப்படியே முன்னாடி இதுக்குள்ள நிக்க ரெண்டு பேரும் அவுட் ஆயிட்டோம்னா புதுசா வர பேட்ஸ்மேன் கஷ்டம் அடிக்கிறது.
Left the line
fans saying Surya to Dada.
One more to score.
6 போயிருமா.
Then takes away the threat of his googly that he sometimes bowls.
Some attempt. Nice fielding.
Well, smacked into the leg side. Fielder underneath it. Oh, brilliant work from Raza to save the boundary.
It
was nearly one of those spectacular moments where the ball is tossed in the air and retrieved, but not quite. He could do no more.
Brilliant effort on the boundary there. He could have gone for 6, and I think he would have been thinking so fast. Should I throw it up? Should I have a risk of trying to throw it a little bit higher so that I can get back in and catch it? In the end, he decided, let's just save the runs. But lovely effort there by Sikandar Raza on the boundary.
Right to tender as drinks are taken. We're joined by W.V. Raman, but before we let you go for the time being, what have you made of the effort from Zimbabwe? A chastened bowling attack after the West Indies performance the other night. 6 overs to come, 161 for 3. They've kept at it, but again, fielding errors have been a frustration.
Yeah, sometimes we only look at the bowling. But for the last 2 matches that Zimbabwe has played, it's more the fielding that has done damage for Zimbabwe than the bowling. Because if the bowlers have done the job, which is to create it's now on the fielders to take the catches. If you take the catches, it brings up emotions for everyone onto the field. And the bowler will have more energy, becomes more confident to bowl well again, you know, in the next ball or the next over. But when the catches are dropped, the heads go down, the shoulders drop down, and so it's more the fielding for me that has been the problem.
free contest மட்டும் ஓடிட்டு இருக்கு. காசு கொடுத்து விளையாட முடியாது. ஃப்ரீயா நீங்க விளையாடலாம். ஆனா அதுல ஜெயிக்கிறது ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். நிறைய பேர் விளையாடுவாங்க.
Very nice to have your company. Lovely as well for TMS debut.
நான் நிறைய ஜெயிச்சிருக்கேன். நிறைய காசு கொடுத்திருக்காங்க.
You must have been enjoying what you've seen over the course of the last 14 overs, which has been a demonstration of Indian batting brilliance.
Yeah, this is exactly what was expected of the Indian side because they got a highly talented batch of batters. And it goes to show what difference it makes if they get off to a good start. Abhishek Sharma passing a bit of temperamental test with flying colours. He's also struck the ball really well tonight, and his innings has set the tone for the Indians. And the Zimbabwe bowlers have been taken down, except for Muzarabani and Bennett to a certain extent. Muzarabani conceding only 13 of 2 overs, and Bennett conceding only 16 of 2, but apart from those two, it's been tough going for them against the strong Indian batting lineup. And we got Surya Kumar Yadav and Hardik Pandya together, and they can be quite a handful bowler for the Zimbabwe bowlers now, because Surya Kumar Yadav is back in form, he's striking the ball well as well. And Hardik Pandya, I've always admired his striking ability. Makes it so effortless, but yet generates fantastic power.
And Guevara, left arm over, bangs it in short, chopped away out towards deep cover. The ball seems to be picking up pace on the outfield. Well stopped out there on the boundary by
கீழே நிறைய பேர் இருக்கானுங்க. அடிக்க இப்போ எல்லா பாலும் அடிக்க பார்ப்பானுங்க. சூர்யா மட்டும் அடிக்க பார்க்க மாட்டான். சூர்யா மட்டும் நின்னாட பார்ப்பான். ஒரு சைடில் மட்டும் அடுத்து வர்றவங்க எல்லாம் அடிக்க பார்ப்பான்.
Really enjoyed watching Abhishek Sharma tonight because
சூர்யா சிங்கிள் தட்டி கொடுக்கறதா வேலை.
An awkward place to be. 3 ducks to start a tournament, so much
expectation. 230 பாத்தீங்களா? பார்க்கல எங்க இருக்கு? வரல எனக்கு ஸ்கிரீன்ல.
Played really nicely. Comes Guevara again, rushes in and bangs it in short with a grunt of effort. There's a fielder waiting at deep third in front of the Zimbabwe dugout. There won't be more than just a single.
14 ஓவர் இன்னும் 4 பால் இருக்கு.
Zimbabwe skipper will be disappointed because he mentioned that
the RCB திடீர்னு ப்ரோ RCB ங்கற இந்தியா
better. That's not happened tonight as well. The bowlers have created opportunities, but they not completed.
பெரியல இருக்காரு.
The Zimbabwe fielders have earned on more than a couple of occasions drop catches. Of course, Ishan Kishan
Surya striker தான். சூர்யா அடிக்கவே பார்க்க மாட்டான். சிங்கிள் தட்ட தான் பார்ப்பான்.
Surya Kumar Yadav is going to follow suit because
Hardik Pandya நல்லா பண்ணிட்டு
for runs he wants to
அடிக்க பார்க்கறாங்க 6 catch 6
he was not in the best of form a few months ago. Let's see, this before this World Cup
Samma start to form.
He's on strike now and he's hit that hard into the leg
side. It goes
face
cam வேணாம் bro. ஏன் bro?
It wasn't the most elegant of shots, but goodness me, again the India flags fly as the score moves to 170 for 3. There was a man out there at mid-wicket, but it always had too much on it.
That was a very unnatural shot from Surya Kumar Yadav. We normally see him play the scoop bench square on the onside, but there he was dragging it from the outside off stump and playing a traditional pull shot. It looked ungainly, but he got the desired result, clearing the boundary. Just enough.
Boundary bowler.
It's these big bats you see nowadays. They get away with anything, don't they? In comes Guevara.
Nice
pulled away again. This time could be a chance for the fielder. No, it goes in front of square. Brilliant work though. Myers out there on the boundary. Saves 4. Couple are taken. 11 from the over so far with 2 balls left of it. And the score 172 for 3. You can't blame the endeavour.
And Garawa bowling into the pitch. That's a terrific effort from the fielder out of the deep. Despairing dive, saving a couple of runs. Yes, they've done reasonably well as far as ground fielding is concerned. It's been the catching has been a problem for them, Zimbabweans.
This wonderful cricket-loving city everywhere you go. One of the things I love in big Indian cities is you get roads that are dedicated to one industry. So it might be that it's motorbike helmet road, and Guevara runs in, loses approach, and will have to try again. It was in Mumbai in a market, and it was car horn repair road, which was a cacophony of awfulness and noise. And so everywhere you went, it was a challenge on the ears. But there is, as you go on here, sport shop after sport shop, every bat of every budget, every Zimbabwe in Australia, wish to see shops named after Dhoni. It's such an exciting place for a cricket lover. Around the wicket, hit away in the air, fielder running in from the deep, might take the catch, should take the catch, and does. Surya Kumar Yadav is out, 33 from 13 balls. He was up there a long time. All sorts would have been going through the mind of the fielder. But Masekira has done very well indeed to take that catch running in. 172 for 4.
Persistent plays off for N. Garawa. He was blocking this ball back up and bowling into the pitch. The only difference with this shot was that Surya Kumar Yadav was looking to go through the offside. Earlier a couple of occasions he played on the onside, but this time around he was looking to clear the field offside. Couldn't get the distance. Good effort from the field around the deep. Safely taken. Completes the catch on this occasion to get rid of Surya Kumar Yadav. He's played a good hand here as Surya Kumar Yadav. And India in a very strong position at 172 for 4.
Well, they are.
இன்னைக்கு இந்தியா மேட்ச் எல்லாரும் ஆல் ஸ்டார்ல பார்த்துட்டு இருப்பாங்க, அதனால நீங்க யாரும் வரல. 3000 views வந்துருக்கு. நேற்று நிறைய பேர் லைக் போட்டாங்க, அதனால வீடியோ நல்லா புஷ் ஆயிடுச்சு. இன்னைக்கு 12 பேர் தான் லைக் போட்டுருக்காங்க. ஸ்மால் டீம்ஸ்லாம் சும்மா விடக்கூடாது, அவங்க டஃப்பாக கொடுப்பாங்க. ஆனால் ஜிம்பாப்வே பவுலிங் தான் ப்ரோ நல்லா போடுவாங்க, பேட்டிங் ரொம்பவே. பேட்டிங் எப்படி ஆடுவாங்கன்னா ஒன் டே கட்டி ஒரு பால் ரெண்டு பேர் தான் நல்லா சிக்ஸ் அடிப்பாங்க. ராசா நல்லா சிக்ஸ் அடிப்பான். அதுக்கப்புறம் இன்னும் ரெண்டு பேர் இருக்காங்க, அவங்க வந்து சிக்ஸ் அடிக்கிறப்ப எல்லாருமே தரையோட தான் ஆடுவாங்க. அதனால ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் ப்ரோ, ஹை ஸ்கோரிங்லாம் அவங்களால அடிக்க முடியாது. 4 by திலக்கு போடும் அந்த பாலே. திலக்கு இன்னைக்கு ரொம்ப கீழே ரொம்ப டவுன்ல இருக்கிறாங்க, என்னன்னு தெரியலையே.
And Garava finishes the over, an expensive one, 15 from it, but the wicket, it's 176 for 4. And as the over comes to an end, I'm going to make way for Prakash Wakanka and leave you with the thoughts of W.V. Raman. 5 overs left. Well, sky is gone, but it feels like sky's the limit for India.
Yeah, of course, if you see batters just walk out and play the shots.
The match appella pottadu over right. Marodi
you'll be worried if you're out there on the field in Zimbabwe colours. And it's a strong batting lineup, and Hardik Pandya can cut loose any time now. And Tilak Verma has made his intent clear. 176 for 4 at the end of 15, which means they got 30 deliveries to go. And we'll let wait and see to what extent they're going to leverage the position that they're in now.
Yeah, well, they'll need to, and they'll want to as much as they can. Musarabani with the ball in his hand right now. Musarabani will have different ideas. His first 2 overs, he got the wicket of 13 runs is what he's given away so far. He's in, he bowls to Pandya, and Pandya up on his toes, guides it away to backward point. They'll run through for a quick single. And they're running through for an overthrow, and that's shy at the non-striker's end. And it runs all the way down to where square third is. They're thinking of another run. There's a little bit sloppy there, not backing up well. But these little things can often make a huge difference in a game of cricket. 178 for 4 in the 16th.
Excellent awareness from these two, Tilak Verma and Hardik Pandya. Their relays, their fielders a bit napping, and they quickly dashed around for the second. In fact, they did create an opportunity for the third as well.
I think Karthix was not interested, he just ran past.
Chepauk
That typical Karthix stance with his legs a little bit more apart than normal. Gives the bowler a little bit of a shimmy down the wicket and then guides it away on the offside, seeing that the ball's not there. to be hit. Sensible adjustment. 179 for 4 in the 16th over. Chepauk looking absolutely magnificent. What a sight. There are few sights that are better in world cricket or world sport really. The lush green outfield, the floodlights bringing them to glory. Indian flags in the stadium. And I think the only complaint I could possibly have is that up on the stand on the left, which is the Kalanagar M. Karunanidhi stand, there is some seats which are still vacant, and ideally you want this to be throbbing and full of people. Mind you, loads of people here, make no mistake. But there are a few seats here. Zimbabwe balls, and this time Tilak Varma plays the scoop effortlessly. Just goes down on his knee, waits for the ball, and then helps it over the keeper's head. 4 more runs. India on the rampage, 183 for 4.
I tell you what, he seems to be on a serious mission. This because of DMK. First one, he slammed it over the infield outside. And this one playing the scoop. Cheeky shot, but displacement was absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, he got well across to give himself a range of options, and then seeing the direction of the ball, was just able to sort of scoop it literally over the top of the infield on the onside. There's a man at 45, a man at backward point. As here's Mazurabani bowls, slow ball, worked away on the onside, aware and alive to the situation. Just a single down to be back square. 184 now for 4.
What's really impressive about Mazurabani is that he's executed his plans really well. He's looked to vary the pace, he's been put under pressure, but he's responded well. He's made good comebacks after being tonked for a boundary or 6.
Well, he is the star. He's played
loads of
cricket, very experienced. India's innings so far, we've seen 14 fours and 10 sixes. Here's Mazurabani bowls again, and this one's gone up in the air. Is it going to go to hand? Two fielders getting just falling in between them. A little bit of good fortune there for Hardik Pandya. The ball got big on him, as you'd expect from a 6'8" quick bowler, and he's lucky to still be there.
First match, Sky is top scorer.
Again, once again, clever variation in pace. The previous delivery was 101 kmph, and this one is a remarkable difference. 132 almost. That's quite a lot from 101 That's the reason Hardik Pandya was genuinely surprised.
Yeah. Got napping a little bit, if you would. Change in the field for Tilak Varma. Third comes into the ring, and staying over the wicket is
score predictor.
It's whipped away on the onside. They look for the second. Will they go for it? Yes, they do. And that will complete the run. A bit of a wayward throw. Marumani, the wicketkeeper, has to run across to make sure he gets the ball in his gloves. And that is the end of the 16th over now. The rate just a shade below 12 with 4 overs to come. And India 187 for 4. They are in a very strong position. A quick drink coming out for Hardik.
So laptop for 1 minute.
It is humid. You'd expect that. It is hot. You'd expect that as well, isn't it? Chennai has 3 seasons, I used to be told. Hot, hotter and hottest.
But it's the beautiful winter here in Chennai. What are you complaining about, Prakash?
Yes, sir.
And you are no longer a non-Chennai, or at least a non-Tamil Nadu,
well,
if I can use the term.
Fair enough, fair enough. So I have to say, this is the pleasant part of the summer. I still can't call it winter. For that, you got to come up to the hills. 187 for 4, 16 overs bowled. Start of a fresh over them. And this one's down the leg side, looking to clip it away. Wide signal by the umpire.
It doesn't matter what you've done in earlier games. It doesn't matter how well you've been performing. It doesn't matter what kind of confidence you're carrying into this game. It's a very challenging situation for Zimbabwean bowlers now. Because last 4 overs they got to go hammer and tongs. They got
Brad Evans and Sikandar Raza having a chat. Evans suggesting the ball to the back. How can that be signalled wide? It's happened before to him. He's got to put that away and focus on his bowling. That's the task the skipper has given him. Here's Evans in to bowl to Pandya. Bowls, and Pandya goes for another big hit. Doesn't quite get it where he wants to, but it will streak away or squeeze away, if you will, between the
250
man at 45 down to a very, very fine boundary on the leg side for 4 runs. So 192 for 4. A little bit of fortune again as Pandya not quite able. Back of the handball, slower one. And between his pads,
number 3 is missing.
Off the inside edge for 4 runs.
not a great deal, is it? Moral victory for the bowler, but the numerical victories for the batter.
And the problem is, as a batter, you will acknowledge that the scorecard will show 4 runs. It won't show anything else. Here's Evans now. How does he respond? That last delivery was just 103 clicks. Bowls, quicker one. Fuller worked away on the onside by Pandya. And they'll go back to the second tall men. Tilak has to hurry. I think the bowler's hand broke the wicket anywhere before the ball got to him. But in any event, Tilak Verma had made his ground. 2 more runs, 194 for 4. India showing the urgency that you expect when they're in this kind of position.
Bowlers எல்லாம் வாட்ச் பண்ணி அவனை எல்லாமே பண்ணிட்டாங்க bro. வீக்னஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் கண்டுபிடிச்சிட்டாங்க.
on display here.
அவன் அந்த அவனோட ஸ்ட்ராங்கர் ஏரியாவை அக்சஸ் பண்ண விட மாட்டாங்க. முதல்ல ஸ்டெம்ப் லைன்லயே போட்டுட்டு இருப்பாங்க. அவன் ஈஸியா அந்த
tall figures
பின்னாடி தூக்கி அவனோட ஃபேவரட் ஷாட். இப்போ அவனுக்கு அப்படி போறதே இல்ல யாருமே.
Slams it. Good delivery, one has to say.
போட்டான் திடீர்னு சர்ப்ரைஸா தான் போறான்.
அதனால they could do with it. A single to long on. Just try and keep the batter from getting underneath it. That must be the message.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to bowl almost at the feet of the batters.
மூணு பால் இருக்கு bro. 6 அடிப்பாங்களா?
Look to give any opportunities at all.
6 வர வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு
in doing so.
உங்களுக்கு கம்பீர் பிடிக்குமா?
The important thing is
கம்பீர் ப்ளே பண்ணி நான் பார்த்தது இல்ல. ஏன்னா கம்பீர் காலத்துல நம்ம சின்ன பசங்க
Evans has done that well so far in this over.
பெரிய பசங்க ஆகி அவங்களோட பழைய வீடியோஸ் பார்த்து தான் பழக்கம். அடுத்து லைவ் மேட்ச் விளையாண்டு பார்த்தது இல்ல.
Something bothering Tilak Verma.
நல்ல பிளேயர் தான் இந்தியா.
Maybe just insect or two. He settles now.
6 அடிக்க மாட்டான்னு சொன்னா போட்டான் பாருங்க Tilak.
Round the wicket, Evans bowls and Tilak Verma launches it. What a magnificent shot that is. That is over extra cover, effortlessly put away into the third or fourth row in that ground stand. What a terrific shot from Tilak Verma. The 200 comes up for India. 201 for 4.
If at all anybody's evolved from a duration game player to a white ball player, it's Tilak Verma. He was one who consumed a lot of deliveries, who was more of the traditional kind when he started off cricket. But he realized that demands for this generation of cricketers are completely different, and he's adapted to them brilliantly.
He certainly has.
நான் வந்து எவ்வளவு சொல்றேன்னா
waits now for Evans again. Evans this time he's looking.
நீங்க எவ்வளவு சொல்றீங்க?
The scoop, the ball is very well directed and it just dribbles out in front of him. When it doesn't come off, it does look a little bit funny. And of course, Evans giving him a mouthful. I don't think that's bothering him at the moment. 201 for 4. This partnership is worth 29 of just 13 balls. 15 fours, 11 sixes in this innings. PJ is in overdrive, as indeed is the crowd. A massive Indian tricolour being waved away in the stand away to our right. And the crowd getting their money's worth. One field. Here's Evans again, round the wicket.
In 3 over இருக்கு bro. 3 over 10 run ஈஸியா அடிச்சிடுவாங்க. ஓகே சொல்றீங்க. ஓகே.
Looking to reach for
மாத்திரந்தா கூட போய் மாத்திக்கலாம்.
17th over done now. 201 for 4. 11.82 the run rate. 13 and over from here on in will take India.
யாராவது ஒரு ஆள் அவுட் ஆயிருவாங்கன்னு சொல்றீங்க.
That's what they must be looking for if they can. And let's see what the bowlers have. Angarava has 1 over. Muzarabani of course has 1. Maposa was expensive, 2 overs for 40. His third, he's given away 37. Raza, 3 overs, 1 for 29. Bennett, 2 overs, none for 16. And Burl, the 1 over for 10. So a few options available. Where does the skipper go to? Let's wait and see.
Raza's
CSK fan
7 options.
Yes, but he's sticking with Muzarabani. I think he realizes that taking wickets is probably the only way that this flow of runs can be eased. Something bothering Pandya. And he's having a word with the umpires, suggesting that the bright yellow shirts, not very different from the colour I'm wearing, but I'm sitting inside the commentary box. But in front of the batter, that can be a distraction. But everything seems okay now. Muzarabani is in to bowl to Pandya. He's in, he bowls. Slower ball and Pandya launches into the crowd and wide-ish long on for yet another 6.
What a start to the over.
Great striking ability from Hardik Pandya. He made it look so easy, but I promise you it was a difficult shot to play. He was playing at a delivery which was angled into him, and he was looking at the cow corner.
Address our mic
part of the shot was that he didn't kind of play the horizontal band, he just extended his arms.
Retained his shape. Quicker delivery.
CSK jersey போட்டு யாரை சொல்றீங்க எனக்கு புரியல அட்ரஸ்னா யாரை
pulled away to long on for a single. 208 for 4 now. Hardik is 30 of 16. Tilak Verma is 17 of 7.
This partnership of 36 has come up just 16 balls. In the launch phase, India getting 80 in the first 6 overs. Between 7 and 14, they got another 81. And so far in the 3 overs, 15 to 17, they got 40. So India going along at a really brisk pace. Mazharubani bowls full toss and Tilak Varma just carves it away. 4 runs square, third man. Poor delivery, put away.
The York are not really coming off. High full toss, it is really a gift. And Tilak Varma has been top tonight. Put it away comfortably enough through the offside.
Margin for error in this level of cricket is so small. Another day that could have been rattling the stumps of a batter on this occasion. Just missing his length.
எங்களோட விளையாண்ட ஃப்ரெண்டு வந்து வரல இன்னைக்கு ஆளே காணோம். அவர் வந்தாருன்னா லைவ் இருக்கும். இல்லைன்னா ரெஸ்ட் எடுத்துட்டு நாளைக்கு ரெசிடென்ட் ஈவில் 9 கேம் பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணியாச்சு. சுட சுட நாளைக்கு 10:30க்கு லைவ் வந்துருங்க. ஸ்கூலுக்கு போயிருவீங்க. இருந்தாலும் நீங்கள் சாயங்காலம் வந்துருங்க.
This time for Varma, he goes to 22 and the total 213 now for 4.
Pace off delivery is a good delivery for Mazharubani, and he's got good control over it. Back of the length, bowling into the pitch, making it difficult for the batter to generate the power. And there's a lot of work for a batter if the bowler doesn't give any pace at all and he just bowls it into the pitch.
Evening live இருக்குமா cricket? நாளைக்கு என்ன மேட்ச் bro? என்ன மேட்ச் பார்த்து சொல்லுங்க.
Fuller delivery and Hardik has hammered it down the ground. It will be cut off just in front of the pavilion. And a single is all that will accrue. Raza has been absolutely brilliant in the field, as have been a couple of other Zimbabweans. 214 for 4 now, and the last ball of the 18th coming up. This has been another over which has gone for 13 already. One more to come, one ball to come in this over. That will be the end of Mazharubani's spell. How does he finish? How does he get out of this over without letting a big shot get played? Tilak Varma waits for the field to settle. 3 men in a ring along with the keeper.
England top la irukanga, New Zealand top la irukanga. Semma match போறோம்
inside the ring as well. Those are the 4 men inside.
Already England வந்து qualify ஆச்சு. நாளைக்கு New Zealand ஜெயிச்சா New Zealand qualify ஆயிரும்.
Over the fielder, you can just watch it. It goes into the members pavilion. 6 more to end the over.
நீங்க இருக்கீங்க bro. நான் RCB
220 for 4.
In a partnership that's been going on for the last 20 deliveries, these two they've run hard, they've improvised, they've played big shots, and settled the entire bowling attack, and they've added 48 runs of 20 deliveries. It's phenomenal, and they kept the tempo going.
Indeed they have. So in the last 30 balls, 69 runs have come for the loss of 1 wicket. So India on a rampage here, really. And the question now in uppermost in the mind of Sikandar Raza with 2 overs to come will be how can he limit this, and what does he do in conversation with the bowler? A bit of exasperation there, arms wide, arms being flayed around everywhere, with Ngarava about to bowl his last over as well. Mazharubani finishing with 1 for 43 of his 4 overs. The 4 men inside the ring then. Third drops back to the backward point boundary almost, and Raza takes his position at extra cover inside the ring. The man at just back to the square next to the squaring umpire, and the man at short fine. So the 4 men inside the ring there as Ngarava runs away now, left arm over the wicket, and it goes down, signalled wide by the umpire.
He's bowling to 5-4 field. He's got 5 fielders on the offside, so he was trying to be very, very sure of his line.
Sorry bro, bye bro, bye bro.
Wait a bit, which resulted in a wide. He's got to bowl it again.
Must be really hard when you've got this kind of pressure. The crowd, definitely the 12th man as well in this arena here at Chepauk, as in comes Ngarava bowls, and this time Pandya's flat batting it. My word, that went right to borrow a phrase from a well-known name. A tracer bullet into that mid-wicket boundary for 4.
Were you able to spot the ball as it travelled to the boundary?
I must confess I did see it for a fleeting second.
It was hit with such power in an effortless way. That's what is amazing about his batting.
Yeah, he's a wiry frame, isn't he, Hardik Pandya? When you look at him, if you didn't know who he was and you saw him on the street, you'd think of him as a tall man who's probably got
maybe put on a little more weight, but he's got tremendous hand-eye coordination, solid strength, and he looks out for his body after the series of injuries he's had, like a temple as he should. Here's Ngarawa, balls to Pandya, takes it on the full, doesn't get all of it, he'll just get a single. Might have tried to do it through extra cover. Single, nevertheless. 226 now for 4. Pandya's up to 36, and that will bring Verma, who's on 28 on strike.
I never thought I'll see this. Tilak Verma striking at 280 and Hardik Pandya doing 190. Now that's the kind of form Tilak Verma has been tonight. He's walked out to bat, just played some lovely shots, and his judgment of line and length and the way he's got into position so quickly to play shots has been fantastic.
It has been exemplary, but it's remarkable, this game of cricket. These batters look like different players today completely from the other night in Ahmedabad, and that's got to do with conditions, it's got to do with opposition, it's got to do with skills, but most of all it has to do with the kind of platform that they got when they came into bat, just giving them the gay abandon with which to go after the bowling, and that's what they've been doing so far. Here's Ngarawa looking to try and change that, comes in bowls and flicked away off his toes. He'll get just one, maybe two. And they will well before the return comes in. 228 for 4 now.
What would have been disappointing for the Indian team management was the fact that they did not have a good power play in the earlier games, and it would have been very difficult to pinpoint the reason for that. But what happened differently here is that Sanju Samson made a contribution, and then Abhishek Sharma was in top form.
Yes, certainly would, and that will cheer a lot of people. Ngarawa balls, and this one's been lofted. It's coming below us, over the head of the fielder. 6 more, just in front of us. And all that Evans can do is wait, watch the ball sail over his head. He's a little bit upset, and rightly so, because the person who's standing in the gallery there picked the ball up and tossed it over Evans' head instead of giving it to him. These little things can irritate a fielder, particularly when the bowlers are being taken to all parts of the ground. 234 for 4. Tilak Verma has now gone to 36 of 12, striking at 300 per 100 balls faced. That's been an innings that has been of extreme domination by Tilak Verma. 3 4s and 3 6s, and he pulls away again.
240
Raza still signaling to his fielder on the fine leg boundary to move a bit squarer. And now it's all set. Ngarawa goes into bowl again. Left arm over to Tilak Verma. What's he got up his sleeve? He comes in bowl. Slower ball. And this one's going miles into the stands. I tell you what, this is a humongous hit. It's a monster. 42 to Tilak Verma, India 240 for 4 with 1 ball and to come.
He's really responding to his critics in top fashion, isn't he? Look at the shots that he's played, and he's raced on to 42, just 13, and is really shutting up all his critics here.
260.
As they say, let the bat do the talking. And this over's gone for 20 already. You have to feel for the Zimbabweans. A little bit of inexperience, maybe a little bit of overall in terms of the way the opposition's batted today. And after the mauling they got from the West Indies, maybe a little low on confidence, but take nothing away from these batters either. There's the last ball of the over. Ngarawa bowls, and bowls a really good Yorker. He didn't know where it was. He dug it out, but they'll squeeze through for a single. 21 runs off this over. And Ngarawa finishes with 4 overs, 1 for 62. Forgettable outing in some ways for him, but not that he bowled that badly. The Indian batters, I think, just holding the wood over him. 241 for 4, 6 to come, 6 balls to come.
The last few overs have been very difficult for the Zimbabwe bowlers. Muzarabani came back for his second spell when he had conceded only 12 runs of his first 2 overs. After that, he's gone for 31 runs. And in the last 30 deliveries, the Indians have scored 80 runs. It's not for lack of effort, it's not for lack of planning on the part of Zimbabwe bowlers. It's just that all these batters have been in top nick tonight. That's because of the foundation that they've been provided by the openers, and also the fact that the pitch is a very good one for batting here at the Max Stadium.
It certainly is, and I think the penalty has been applied, has it?
India 260.
What is the signal from the umpire? Yes, we are seeing the additional fielder. That's the last thing Zimbabwe wanted. is to have an additional fielder in the ring because they've been slow in bowling their overs. The final over of the innings to be bowled by Evans, Brad Evans from the members end of the pavilion end, and man on strike is still at Verma. Here's Evans, it bowls to Verma, who has a swing and a swish and misses. Well bowled there. Rare dot ball in this innings. There haven't been too many.
In his effort to hit the ball out of the stadium, he was sprawled all over the crease there. Tilak Verma, all his limbs were all over the place, arms going in one direction, feet in different directions.
Yeah, lost his shape there completely. Tilak Verma looking to hit the leather of the ball, but a good delivery, a good start to the over from Brad Evans. He's in again, and this time very well executed again, right in the block hole. Nothing that he could do other than push it away, punt it away towards mid-wicket for a single. This is good by Brad Evans. Can Zimbabwe just find a little bit of momentum? Can they finish this innings well and try and carry that into their batting innings?
Something has to give here now. Either Karthik Pandya is going to hit a six, he's going to go back to the Come on, I think you can do much better than 189.
Well, let's see. Nostradamus Raman in action at the moment, predicting what's going to happen. Let's wait and watch. Here's Evans over the wicket to the right hand of Pandya, and he bowls a beautiful Yorker. Stand and take the ovation, Mr. Evans. In this kind of carnage, to bowl 3 balls in which just a single has been given tells you the skill and the character and the temperament. Beautifully bowled.
He did that in his previous over as well. He's got terrific control with slow Yorkers right down at the feet of the batters.
Single double.
So waging a battle. What can Hardik do now? What can Evans do? Here he is in past the umpire, bowls. And this time Hardik's got hold of it. Not all of it, mind you. He'll probably get just 2. Well fielded at wideish long on, so 2 more to the total.
Cameraman, ladies focus.
India's total now 244 for 4, and 2 balls to come. Can they get to that magic 250? That's what they'll be thinking. On the other hand, Evans will want to psychologically, I think, just try and keep India below 250. West Indies got well over 250 against them with the 1KD the other night. The 1KD boundary is a little bit smaller. There's Evans in bowls, and this time Pandya goes straight over the bowler's head. 6 more. That's the 250. Just turning in his length a little bit, Evans, and Hardik makes him pay. He goes to 44 of 22. And I hope that WE, now you will not be as critical, because he at least got to 200 of the strike rate. You were critical at 189. Man, I wouldn't want you as my coach ever.
Last
9 runs off the over in the context of the game. This has been a good over. That 1-6 spoiling his figures.
I was only trying to convey how good he is.
Of course. Of course.
50,
last ball
bro,
of the Indian
50
innings.
bro, Hardik
Evans
Pandya.
into Pandya. Slower ball, he's launched it. That will be 6 more. Over deep backward square. Brings the crowd to their feet. India finish on a high. 256 of their 20 overs at a rate of just below 13 runs. And Hardik Pandya gets to his 50 off the last ball of the innings. A 23 ball 50 for India. For Hardik Pandya, I beg your pardon. And Zimbabwe with a mountain and then some to climb if they are to cause an upset. 17 fours matched by 17 sixes in this India innings. It's been a run riot.
The Indian batting unit is living up to the billing of being a very dangerous lot. And we've seen some excellent stuff from the Indian batters out here in this innings. Put into bat by the Zimbabwe skipper. They were not in the best of form as a unit, but all of them came good here. And the way they batted, the conviction with which they batted has been tremendous. And their approach has been relentlessly aggressive, which is really good for a side which is not really been batting as well as they could. There were a lot of questions asked, there were a lot of criticisms that they were subjected to, but nothing seems to have affected them, which is a sign of a great side, which is also the sign of the collective belief that they have.